Ren, are you okay? Are you normal?
I'm always normal.
That's not what I heard.
Why do you say these? Oh yeah, I start the podcast.
Jesus Christ.
That's how it goes sometimes, okay, you know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bog Frog.
Try it again.
No. Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Bog Frog Book Podcast, the podcast where James continually fucks up my bits. How are we feeling today, guy who fucks up my bits?
Bog Frog Book Cast?
Did I fuck? Hello. Oh, fuck. Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Bog Frog Book Pod. As always, I am joined by James.
Me.
One of the two guests at this showing of Unforgiven.
That's not even on our list, but yeah, carry on.
I know, it's the movie you recommended me watch. That's the thing. You're fucking up my bits again, James.
I'm so sorry. Your bits, they're just too complicated and high concept. I can't. I just can't follow, Who else is at this screening of Unforgiven, I think is what you said?
No,
it's a screening of fucking Were-Rabbit for Seths, because
okay.
The fuck...
Want this one back again, or...
No, now we're here, and it's all ruined.
Seth, how are you feeling about this dual screening of Unforgiven and Curse of the Were-Rabbit?
Oh, and now you're the host? Okay, well...
Well, when the ship is sinking, somebody's got to take command of the ship. Somebody's got to grab the wheel.
You always play the serious one first. You gotta get in the double feature. You gotta get through Unforgiven, and then you leave feeling a bit happy with Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
You're feeling insane.
I'm sure there's something going on there. There has to be some parallel to be drawn.
The transformation
between the two.
of man.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
The transformation of man to rabbit and rabbit to man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
Ren, what is this episode?
Oh my god, I'm so glad you asked. I was waiting with bated breath to let everybody know.
Yeah. Tell the dear listener they've waited so long.
Dear listener, if you haven't been listening since our last episode, or you just like to be reminded because it's been a year and change.
It's been like 2 months, like 2 to 3 months.
Don't worry about it. We've been busy.
We've all been really fucked up busy.
Yeah, it's just
that there's a Nazi in office again.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, you can bleep it if you want.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, we can't get political?
What are we doing today?
Oh my god, give me a sec!
Ren!
Can we not bop around for a sec? Oh my god. James wants to be so on topic, because he's always so on topic. Isn't that right, James?
Yes.
Okay, well. This is the episode where we talk a lot about movies we like. Specifically, to start off, we each show each other 2 different movies that we think the other would like, and is thematically related to the 2 movies we have chosen to also show everybody as our movies for this special that we will talk about in depth.
What's
we did
the
mini
special
episode
called?
This is the Oops All Movies special because we all like movies a lot, but books are better, so we talk about them more.
That is true.
This is true because
there's also less book podcasts.
This is true. There are a lot of movie podcasts.
Significantly less.
Yeah. And books are pretty cool. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, they're
no.
right. Oh shit.
Maybe if you flip through them real fast and you projected light through the pages and they made pictures and sounds come up on the silver screen. Maybe then I'd respect
the shimmering
book.
Silver screen.
Yeah. Maybe then I'd respect a book.
Yeah, okay.
I've never read one in my entire goddamn life.
So
Seth is fully trapped by the idolatry of the moving image.
Yeah.
This is
my new bit.
This is factual.
Yeah.
To start, like we did last year, we're each going to go through our top 10 movies. And then at the end, name the 2 movies
I'm
that we chose.
glad you guys remembered how we did this last time, because I sure as shit didn't. I had.
I'm pretty sure this is how we started.
Yeah, we each went through our top 10.
And then mention, and these are the 2 movies that we chose to talk about today.
Oh my god!
What the sin? Yeah, it's very exciting. I know you're all very excited.
Yeah, we're all they're all on the edge of this.
Seth, tell us your top 10.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh damn!
And talk a little bit about each
top
of
of
them.
the list.
Okay, number 10. I've got several of things that could be anything. I think number 10 is Furiosa. Okay, I fucking adored that movie this year. I went to see it in the theaters multiple times. Throughout George Miller's whole really career, but especially the Mad Max series of films, there's just been like such an interest in him like portraying like myths and like legends as they're being made. Like especially some of the later Mad Max movies, they just have these very campfire story kind of structures to them. They're very like wide in that way. And I think Furiosa is one of the best examples of that he's ever done. Not my favorite Mad Max.
Babe 2 Pig in the City.
It's in there. It's in there. It's in there.
It's up there for sure.
It's up there for sure. It's happening. It's all of that is in Furiosa. It's not my favorite Mad Max movie. I still think that's Fury Road, but like, you know, if you're only losing to Fury Road, you're doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah.
Just like, I think it expands upon and deepens the narrative of Fury Road in ways that are really interesting, and I think, you know, Fury Road does that to Furiosa in the inverse. It's great. It's fantastic. One of the coolest things. Number 9.
Oh my god.
Number 9. A Bucket of Blood, I think is what I'm going to go with. That's my number 9.
Bucket of Blood? I don't remember
Bucket of Blood
talking about this one.
Is a Roger Corman film from 1959.
Okay.
It is 66 minutes long. And every time, for like many months, I would keep telling people about it and be like, yeah, it's like, you know, like 70 minutes long or something. And I would always, like, a couple hours later, I would like just look up at A Bucket of Blood to like kind of look at it again, and it'd be like 66 minutes long. And I'm like, Roger Corman, you fucking mad genius!
What a genius!
You beautiful, beautiful man. Bucket of Blood is a like pretty low budget film that Roger Corman made. Who, rest in peace, he passed away this year or last year. Made with Dick Miller, who big fans of the works of Joe Dante, such as Gremlins and The Burbs, Small Soldiers, The Howling, all that, probably intimately familiar with. He's in a lot of Joe Dante films. Dick Miller stars as Walter Paisley, a like nebbish little man who really wants to make it big in the LA art scene, and he maybe does some unsavory things to get that happening. It's a great 66 minutes. It's really fucking funny because you can tell that Roger Corman's been around this type of person for a long time. So like, it's just like, it's really good at like getting into like what's funny and annoying about these kinds of art snob people.
Art bastards.
It's a great time. It's only 66 minutes long, so I mean, you know, you should.
I mean, how could you beat that?
You can't really. It's just that good. Number 8, probably Detour. Edgar G. Ulmer's Detour.
Oh, you loved Detour.
I fucking love this movie. Detour is 68 minutes long. Another real tight one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a guy who's trying to make his way to LA to meet up with an old girlfriend of his. And some unfortunate things that, you know, get him off of that journey. That make him go through a little bit of a detour. I watched this and then not like probably less than 2 weeks later, I watched it again with friend of the pod Mike and my lovely partner Kat. And as I was watching it that second time, maybe like 40 minutes or like 30 minutes in, Mike's like, they will not stop talking. And not for a single moment did I even consider that they were talking like an abnormal amount. I'm just like, I'm so in it. It's like, it's so like rat-a-tat and fun. And Savage, who's like the female lead, is incredible. Just one of my favorite performances in like anything really. And the main character Tom Neal is also real great. Edgar G. Ulmer brings a nice like haziness to the thing. It's really like overcast and like in like deep shadows, very noir. You know, it's in that style. It's incredible. Number 7.
Seven.
I'm gonna go with The Purple Rose of Cairo. Which I feel kind of bad. Okay. That's a Woody Allen film.
God damn it, the Woodman.
Man.
It's about a woman who is in an unhappy marriage who loves going to the cinema, and she begins to fall in love with a character actor in a film that she keeps seeing. And eventually, he looks at her and says, "So why don't you just come on up here?"
Oh,
that's an interesting way of putting it.
Watched it, especially I watched it in my philosophy class.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably like I was seemingly the only person in that room who was like, this is incredible. But I sure fucking felt it. So, you know, who cares?
Sound really good.
It's great. The way it ends with something happening that like I really connected with me because I had also experienced something specific from it recently before watching it. And I was like, it's something about it like brought me to tears because it was just so like,
damn,
like suddenly I was like, oh wait, I know how this feels. I know how this part of this movie really feels. Incredible, great movie. Just, you know, basically perfect. It's a little unfortunate.
A
little unfortunate that it's so good.
The Woodman himself.
That's how it goes. The Woodman. Damn.
The Woodman. Number 6.
Yes.
That's how numbers work.
Okay, yeah, number 6. I couldn't remember. I'm not keeping track. Goodbye Dragon Inn.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
2003 cool. Simon Lang film about really just about like story-wise, it's just about basically the closing shift of a theater. It's just people like the last showing, people are cleaning, people are just kind of like walking around this theater at night with like nobody in it. And one incredible like
it's just like me.
I did watch this right before getting a job at a movie theater. And especially being a closer at a movie theater, so it definitely added some. I'm like, oh my god, it's kind of like my Clerks now.
I was gonna say,
but it's also about the kind of like a goodbye to an era of Chinese cinema.
Nice.
Dragon Inn being one of the like seminal pieces of Wuxia.
Yeah,
of Wuxia cinema, which
rocks.
plays in the background of many.
Love it.
One of those things where you just kind of watch it and it hits you real hard. Like just you may not like be feeling it the whole time, but suddenly like one thing will happen and you're like, oh, yeah, you're gonna be feeling it. You're gonna be feeling it more than you expected to. Number 5 is going to be Glen or Glenda, which we will talk about coming up very soon.
Yeah.
Incredible movie, but you know, I'll have more to say on that later. Number 4 is going to be Larry Fessenden's 1995 film Habit, which is a vampire romance film. Set
you recommended this to me. I remember.
I think both of you would really like this. This was like real high up there on possibilities for things I was going to try to get you guys to watch for this, but I couldn't really think of a good thing to connect it to that I would be like really happy with.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
No, that's not enough.
That's a pretty good book.
Here's like that's not nearly as funny as Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn Gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, I think most things are more funny than Bill O'Reilly.
But Habit is fantastic. Larry Fessenden hasn't made a ton of movies, but
he's like your guy, though, right?
I fucking adore him.
Fuck yeah.
He shows up in a few different places. Like he'll show up as like an actor in various other projects. Notably this year he is a security guard in the film Maxine.
Oh
yeah.
And when he popped up in the middle of the theater, I like pointed at him as if like anybody else would care.
That's so funny. It's so fucking funny.
But I got so excited I pointed at him. He stars in Habit too, and he gives a fantastic performance. It's shot all around New York, and it's so like the kind of lower grade camera.
Mm-hmm.
Really just gives New York a specific feeling. The whole thing has a very like melancholic feel to it. It is really, it gets you. It gets you where you live, you know?
Yeah.
Number 3, Gurren Lagann, the movie, The Lights in the Sky Are Stars.
God. Fucking Rube.
You beat me fucking to it.
So the last time I had not seen any Gurren Lagann thing probably since high school. It's been at least 6 years, but in reality probably closer to 8 years. And there was going to be a showing of we
talked about this on the show. I remember we definitely both did. Saw, like, I saw part 1 and you saw part 2.
Yeah. Just so
I couldn't make it to part 1. But so I watched that on my own. That movie's whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's Gurren Lagann.
Made me think less of the whole object.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Part 2's always been the better part of that show.
I don't know about that, but
that's a strong. It's just.
It's true.
Talk about him.
It's true.
I guess we're talking about it here, really.
Yeah, we're talking about it right now. I have not had a like better experience in a movie theater than like watching this with friend of the pod Mike, who's also a big fan of Gurren Lagann, and we were both just like legitimately for the last 40 minutes of the movie just sobbing. Just like not sobbing, but just like tears streaming down my face.
Yeah.
The entire time watching Simone fight back against the concept of entropy.
As your good friend says, no, actually, it's okay to live, and then you're just like, oh, he's
I'm like, peak, it's 12 out of 10.
Oh, it's 12 out of 10. He's simply too good.
He's simply the best too good of all time. It's true. It's literally true. It's great. I also really it has more of the like changed material out of the two films. The first movie just kind of adds a small prologue and like a couple extra scenes.
The final fight is different as well.
Yeah, the final fight is like reanimated.
They consolidate everything down into one big fight.
Yeah,
basically. Against the anti-spiral.
Well, no, that's the spiral.
Yeah,
in part 1. Come on. And then in part 2, the whole final encounter is completely changed. To be a lot larger, a lot bigger.
Yeah, because that's what I remember hearing when I watched this series for the first time. Is that it's got like there's a form beyond what the original final form is.
I'm sure we will talk more.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
With the movie, the movie is where that like there's a pretty famous GIF of the like final form of the Gurren in the movie where he's like larger than multiverses.
Is that not in the anime?
That's not in the anime.
No, it's not in the anime.
That is not at all. That is not at all in the anime. Believe it or not.
Where the two of them are fighting and they're throwing galaxies and shit.
No, that's different.
Some of that, but it goes even bigger. Is the point?
It goes even bigger. It's like more bombastic. And also we will talk about it later because but we'll save that until the end of the episode. We'll have a chance to talk about Gurren Lagann later.
Oh man.
Okay.
But incredible, amazing, beautiful, life-affirming thing. You know, you walk out of that theater and air is a little bit sweeter.
I've said that I talked about this on the episode when we talked about this originally. As much as I did not care for my viewing, not that it was like terrible. I just came out of it not super high on it. I did have a lovely conversation with a gentleman afterwards who was like, "Yeah, every few years I just watch Gurren Lagann just to remember like what it's all for." Like you know,
yeah,
keep on fighting. Like just
that's how it goes.
Like I get it. Like
sometimes you need it.
Crazy.
Sometimes you need your good friend Simone the Digger to tell you to believe in the you that believes in yourself.
I guess.
It's good. I say that a lot.
It's good. It's great.
It's good. What's your
Incredible.
number 2?
Number 2, which I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at your guys' list. I imagine that this was probably at least on the short list of all of our lists.
Okay.
Local Legends.
Yep.
From
that's
2013.
on mine.
I got bad
Farley.
news.
I mean, yeah, I didn't 100%, but you know, it's there. We talked. Did we talk about this movie on the podcast for sure?
Yeah,
I
we
feel
must
like
have.
we must have.
We bring up Matt Farley. I think we did.
Yeah, because
we bring up Matt Farley a lot.
Because we talked about River Beast, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, and then we watched.
We watched those at the same
night.
night, I'm pretty certain.
I think so, or at least like very close together.
Yeah.
River Beast is what like really started me down this rabbit hole, but Local Legends like cemented the fact that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch like everything that Matt Farley and Charlie Rockville have ever
That's
done.
awesome.
And just, you know, a beautiful tribute to the desire to make art in the face of obscurity and just like being able to do it for its own sake. And I think that's really beautiful. I think it's one of the most like inspiring films ever made. I've seen it 4 times.
Hey, all I'm saying is I personally wouldn't make costumes.
If I made costumes,
but you'd make ones that people wear.
Yeah, instead of just
Maybe.
Costumes for display.
And we haven't gotten to talk about it.
Might be pushing it.
The wonderful sequel,
Bloodbath.
came out last year,
God.
which is a very interesting little inverse film.
I definitely don't like it as much as Local Legends. Not because
I don't like it nearly as much.
It's a very different thing, but the ending of Bloodbath
is
one
the ending
of
of
the
Bloodbath
things
is up there. It's up there with the ending of River Beast for me, where it's just like the most perfect punchline of all time.
In River Beast,
completely obliterative.
there are a few things funnier in River Beast than that fucking kid clapping or like raising his hands into the air.
Yeah,
like, yay, my new
do you
dad!
know what? One of the few things funnier than that is the reveal of the statue, which is right afterwards.
That bit's really good.
It's so fucking funny.
I've gotten to show this to like a handful of people, like in person recently, and even people who weren't really vibing with the movie, with River Beast, up until the end, just fucking went crazy for that.
It's so
because it's the funniest thing.
I showed it to my buddy Vic like 6 months ago, and we were hanging out after getting dinner later in the day, and she just fucking drops a reference to the movie. I was like, whoa, damn, it sinks in quick.
It gets you.
It's that Matt Farley, you know, like something about the words, man.
So it just sticks in your brain.
It's fucking brainworm movie. It's good.
It's good.
I'm a big
and
fan.
then my number 1 is Robert Altman's 1975 masterpiece Nashville, which we will talk about later.
We'll talk about it.
Boy, will we.
Oh boy, will we talk about it?
But I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to talk about Nashville.
Me too. I think we all have a lot of thoughts.
I have some like delirium thoughts about it. It'll be very good.
Who's next? Who's talking about their top?
Ren is next.
Me. Okay. So first up, my number 10 is Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, which we will talk about later. I'll say I adore that movie. I've seen it 4 times this year or last year. It's just so easy to put on in the background, do something, and just occasionally go, nice. Which is like all you can hope for sometimes when you're having a bad day. Number 9, fucking one of 2 dark horses that came in the last fucking quarter, like right at the buzzer, was Unforgiven, which was one of the 2 films
You're
that
welcome.
James recommended to me. Dude, Unforgiven, we had a whole episode about it, but it hit something deep inside of me of the deep sadness of being old and trying to run away from who you used to be and being pulled right back into it no matter what you do because it's the only thing you're good at. And it was really getting to me. But we have a whole episode on that I think everyone would really enjoy if you haven't listened to it.
That's a good episode. I really like it.
Me and James get really, really upset about Clint Eastwood, which is all you could really hope for.
Let me tell you, not going to stop soon.
No.
I got so many Clint Eastwood feelings.
So so James, I imagine on your top 10 you have Clint's speech at the Republican National
Yeah, of course.
Convention.
Yeah. That's okay. Number 1 on my list is that speech. Yeah,
it's him talking to the chair.
You're just you're clapping, just going, "Yay! I love Clint Eastwood."
He's saying what we're all thinking.
Finally,
I don't know if
he's saying it.
I don't know if he's saying what anybody's thinking.
No,
I
no,
don't
at all.
remember who said it. It might have been Will Sloan, but it's like as dumb as a stunt as that is. Like only Clint could do it. Like
it is.
It
is perfectly him.
Like it's commendable. Nobody else has it. Like
he's got that juice.
Yeah.
He's got that shit.
Carry on your list. Yeah. Number 8.
Everyone should watch every sad movie Clint Eastwood is in.
It's true.
Cry Macho. Really Group watch of Cry Macho now.
I'm getting there. I gotta watch Firefox next. I'm not looking forward to that one.
We should all sit down and watch $1 Million Baby together and just have a terrible night.
I watched half of that in my woodshop class.
Dude, that's an ideal environment.
That's peak $1 Million Baby time.
It was really good. I was into it.
I'll quickly share my $1 Million Baby story. When I was at rehab, somebody chose it out of the box of DVDs to watch. And at the end of the movie, 2 people were put on suicide watch. That movie's a lot. We all thought it was a sports movie.
I mean,
plain and simple, but just plain and simple. Number 8 for me is Sorcerer, which we also talked about.
Banger fucking movie, man.
Fucking killer shit, dude.
So good.
Seths, you enjoyed Sorcerer?
I fucking love Sorcerer. I've seen it twice now, and both times there are moments that I gasp. It was the same moment both times where I was just like, it's specifically when he falls through the bridge.
Yeah, dude.
When he almost gets run over, I'm just fucking screaming at the TV.
One of the best things ever made.
It was really upsetting reading all the shit about what happened to the crew during the filming of Sorcerer.
Yeah, probably a great set.
It's so bad. A bunch of people got malaria. It was really unideal. A bunch of people got injured. So many injuries. Like, I think who the fuck is the director again?
William Friedkin.
Yeah, it's someone. One of the fucking reviews. Oh, fucking right. One part of the reviews said that part of Friedkin never left that jungle, which is really stuck with me whenever I think about Sorcerer, because that film is a fucking monolith to wanting to make a damn thing.
It's such a nightmare. It's so much effort to make something like that. Like
so much effort to make something that flopped because it came out the same weekend as A New Hope.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're fucked.
You never stood a damn chance, buddy.
Which one do I like more? Sorcerer, but that's fine. Sorcerer, pretty gas. Pretty
fucking sick. Dude.
We also have an episode on Sorcerer. You should go watch it because it's good, and everyone likes Sorcerer because it's awesome and it's perfect. And I like Sorcerer a lot. Nice. Number 7, which is Seth's number 10, Furiosa.
Wow.
I adored Furiosa. This year I watched another Mad Max movie that might come up a little bit later, which is crazy. But Furiosa is my ideal for Anya Taylor-Joy, which is just someone yelling all the time and is so angry and has a cool arm. I think that's the only role she ever needs to be in again, is just doing Furiosa.
The entire movie, you're like, it's not for like the beginning of the movie, you're always like, okay, but like what happens to her arm? And somewhere along the way you kind of forget that anything's gonna happen to her arm. And then when it happens, it's like the coolest thing of all time.
It's probably the coolest thing anyone's ever done. Her making the arm is such a good sequence.
It's fucking incredible. She's so good in that movie.
She's so good in that movie. I'm bummed that she had a bad experience filming it, because I think it's one of her strongest performances in general.
I mean, just... Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, while making Fury Road, also had a really like rough time. Chris Hemsworth seems to be like just weirdly the guy who's okay with whatever's going on there.
It seems like Chris Hemsworth was elevated the entire experience with that character. Like,
he's so fucking good.
Dementis is my best friend. The end of the movie is one of my favorite, just what's the fucking word? Ruminations on revenge, and just like, revenge is stupid. I want to do it though, because it's gonna feel good. And he's like, no, fuck you. That's not the answer. And I think that's wonderful. The film, I've seen it 3 times last year just by watching it with a bunch of different people. Yeah, I didn't realize I'd seen it that many times until saying it just now, because
it's so easy to rewatch.
Yeah, it goes down smooth as fuck. It's a really crisp experience. I watched it myself with my younger brother, and then I showed it to some buddies. And each time I was just having a great time, being like, "Oh, there's the Mentis. Oh, there he is."
The action in that movie is so like just simple.
Yeah.
And like pared down, but just so like expertly effective. It's crazy. Yeah. It's so good.
It's next level. You can't fucking beat it. Well, we'll get there. Number 6 is James's favorite movie of the year. You gonna say it, James? Your favorite movie of the year?
Daichi? That's not on your list.
Get the fuck out of here. The Revenant. The Revenant, your favorite movie of the year that we're gonna talk about very soon.
A movie that when it was over, I turned to my partner and said, "Thank God."
A movie where I'm one of the funniest endings ever.
I want to remain silent until we get there.
It sounds like Seth might have similar feelings.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it more. I love this film. I had a great time. Number 5, Seth recommendation, After Hours.
I fucking love this movie.
A film that perfectly encapsulates
on the podcast as well.
We did.
A film that perfectly encapsulates the life of Ren in its entirety.
It is. It's true. It's when you're being normal, you're being like this.
There's nothing more stressful than talking to someone you think is cool, going to their house and being like, "Ooh, this was a bad idea," and then having a terrible, terrible night getting home because everything is closed and you lost your wallet. And now you're being hunted by a mob of people. Everything's good in After Hours. It's a really nice experience.
Dick Miller of Bucket of Blood fame, is in that movie. Famously, he's the one who says it's like After Hours.
Fucking
he drops the line.
It really was an After Hours all along.
It's true,
guys. That's After Hours is like a perfect movie. It's just so good. Everything is great about it. I'd always have a good time. I want to rewatch it because I just had so much fun the first time. And yeah, it's just a stressful fever dream that ends in the funniest way possible. I don't know how you have a better ending than the ending of After Hours.
Well, apparently we have 4 movies that are better overall ahead of it, so
yeah,
it can't be that good.
Yeah. Speaking of which, number 4, Mad Max Fury Road.
That one still.
Dude, come on.
I'm looking at your list. I haven't seen any in your top 4 or top 5, really.
That sucks.
Did we not watch After Hours?
No, we
together?
didn't.
No,
I watched that
you guys
very
might have,
solo.
but I didn't.
I watched that by myself.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we watched it together.
No. I mean, we
That's
watched
crazy.
a similar vein fucking...
We watched
Fuck.
Blowout and Repo
Yeah, we
Man
watched
and...
Blowout, yeah.
I'm not thinking of Blowout.
I'm always thinking about Blowout.
Wait. Am I thinking of Blowout? Is
You know what
Blowout
I'm thinking
the
about?
fucking...
Thinking about Mad Max Fury Road.
No, give me a second. This is gonna bug me. Is Blowout...
Christ.
Is Blowout the super fucking long one directed by the ex-wife of James Cameron?
No, that's
No,
Strange,
that's
Days.
Strange Days.
That's what was
That's-
fucking... Yeah,
that's
so
what
I
it
am
was.
thinking of Blowout.
Gosh,
Sorry,
Strange Days.
apologize. Strange Days is so fucking good. Mad Max Fury Road is a great film about a man who may or may not be mad in two different ways. Who is trying to escape and also helping a bunch of young women who are having a very, very bad time. And it's just like one of the best looking films ever made. I don't know. It's so good looking. It's just
great.
it's Mad Max Fury Road. It doesn't need my praises. It's fucking
Yeah, it's like, you know, maybe the most lauded action film of the last decade.
yeah. It's like, how the fuck do you beat that? It's gorgeous. The direction is great. The colors are great. I want to live in the nightscapes of that film forever. I want to be nowhere else. I just want to live in the fucked up swamp with the fucked up birds.
Yeah, with the fucking, like, and the people with the long stilts.
That's all you need.
Oh my god,
that's all you
so
need.
cool. They show
Just
up for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, they show up for like 5 seconds and the coolest thing you've ever seen. Yeah, need nothing more. That shit's great. If you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, like James here, you should go watch it.
Yeah, I'll get
And
to it.
be
I have
a
to
real
watch
member.
Thunderdome first.
You do.
Well,
Thunderdome, kind of good.
number 3, following in this legacy of deserts, is Dune Part 2.
Have a whole episode about it.
Yeah, where we talk a long
to that
time.
episode, actually.
I like that episode very much. I think we talk a lot about Dune Part 2, a film where Paul Atreides is like, man, what if I do that thing I shouldn't? And then does the damn thing and faces repercussions. And it changes a lot of parts from the book in really interesting ways. And I'm really hoping that Denny makes fucking Dune Messiah, because that would be fascinating. What he
next
does
movie.
with that.
He's apparently he's supposed to start filming
He
it.
said he was going to do that, yeah.
Apparently, he's supposed to start filming it this summer.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought he was taking a break.
Well, I think he also thought he was taking a break, but
I
I don't think they're letting him.
Well, contracts and money, I guess. That's a bummer.
But he is done after that.
Thank God. I hope they make
That's all
no
you
more
need.
after that. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I do really want him to try to do God Emperor though.
It would be insane. It would be
I
insane.
want somebody to try.
I don't know if
I don't know
do.
I don't know who you get to do it. I don't know who you get to do Children of Dune either.
Who'd want to?
Yeah, but somebody should try God Emperor. Just for me.
Oh Lord.
Be the only one in that
present
theater.
for you.
It would be.
A birthday gift for our good friend Seth. The fuck.
Get Paul W.S. Anderson to do God Emperor, dude.
Me
Oh
clapping.
my god. He'd fucking do it.
He can figure it out. I think he can do it. Give him the keys.
Give me number 2, Ren.
No, let Ari Aster do it. I was gonna say Dune Part 2, visually beautiful, super striking. I want to live in every desert scene in that film because it's great. And it's really funny when Paul yells really, really loudly in the trailer, and then I locked in when he yelled in the movie. I don't know why that difference exists, but it does, and I wanted to note it.
Context
Number 2.
Crazy.
Context is crazy, ain't it? Number 2. Well, it was specifically when he said, "I am Paul Moadib Atreides" in the trailer. It was like the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
And then in the movie, it kind of rocks. It's really kind of incredible.
It's kind of he's kind of fucking perfect in that film. Oh, he's so good in that film. Anyway, number 2, also truly in the final days of the year, out of nowhere, fucking Dark Horse win. our good friend Nosferatu showed up and is my number 2 movie of the year by Robert Eggers. I was really excited when this trailer dropped because years ago he was like, man, it would be cool if I directed Nosferatu, and then it never happened. And then, lo and behold, he had a bunch of movies that did really, really well, and he got to make the thing he really wanted to make. And then this thing made $1 billion. Not actually, because I guess movies do make $1 billion. It made a lot of money for a...
It did make a good amount of cash.
Yeah, for like an art house horror movie. Like, damn. It's Focus Pictures, but like an artsy horror movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Yeah, this film also visually striking. Lily Allen Depp's performance is insane. Just fucking unparalleled. Seth, you've also seen it?
I did see it. I saw it. I saw it a couple days after it came out.
Okay.
I didn't get to see it. I thought I saw it on the 3rd or 2nd, I think, of January. I liked it. It's probably not my favorite Nosferatu. I really, really like the Herzog film.
I need to watch that Herzog.
It's really fucking good. But it's very good. I think it also is very interesting in the context of just like having seen the other Nosferatu films, what it changes and what it chooses to focus on, and like what I really like Nosferatu overall. It did kind of convince me, like, I don't think we ever need somebody to do this again.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I don't know what else he could do.
Yeah, like I think we've reached the limit of what this story is kind of capable of, without just like kind of teetering on the line of being like, this is really interesting, and also, hey, this kind of like at its core is maybe a little problematic.
Yeah,
and I'm
which
like,
I think
it's real interesting. It's real. I liked it.
Yes, it's such a good film. It's probably my favorite shot in a movie ever. At the very end, I'm just not the very, very end, but leading up to it when the fucking score is rising and Count Orlok is bleeding to death. I'm just like, fuck, it's peak. It's so peak, guys. It's so good. Fuck. In my first screening, it was so bad I almost punched out a man behind me. In the parking lot. It was not great. That was not ideal, but you know, he make do. Anyway, my number 1 for the year is The Zone of Interest, which I saw super early on in the year and left such an impression that it stayed in the number 1 spot for the entire year. And I've
when this was in theaters, I saw the poster of it, right?
Yeah.
And I saw the title, I was like, whoa, that looks like a really cool sci-fi film. So then I clicked to look at the description, and I saw what it was about. I said, you can't trick me. I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm not watching this fucking movie.
You're not having a bad day.
I'm not doing it. I'm good.
Oh, so good. More power to you. Yeah, this Holocaust movie from the perspective of the Nazis, which, as you may expect, being done by a Jewish director, it's just like a harrowing, awful experience. There's no portion of the film where like you're having a good time. You're just kind of sitting like, oh man, these people are having a really normal life. Oh, just constantly. There's no like chill portion. I saw this on a whim with a buddy who was like, oh yeah, I've been using The Zone of Interest. That was a cool one. I'm so bummed I didn't see it in theaters. And I was like, oh, it's showing at my theater because they're going through some of the Oscar nominations. And she was like, I'm driving 2 hours to go watch this with you. I'm like, on like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night. It was, it was fucked up. But I saw it on a whim, and I had like just an elevating experience. I was having a terrible time watching this seemingly normal family like have garden parties while bodies are burning in Auschwitz. It just sucks. Bad time. Perfect movie. My favorite movie of the year.
Hell yeah.
James. Did I talk too long?
No.
Me.
James.
Me.
Give 10.
I'm gonna give you my 10. Start with number 10.
10.
Megalopolis.
We
talked about
this. Mega lot.
We talked about this extensively when me and Seth both saw it. I fucking love this movie.
Awesome.
It has fully convinced me I need to watch every Francis Ford Coppola film. But he's made a lot of them, and I say every. I won't watch Jack.
No,
you gotta watch Jack.
I did watch Jack with you, Seth, so I'd count that if I did go.
Okay, that counts. I also watched it with you.
I love Francis Ford Coppola has such a fixation on the hyper real and like the just it's just the way things look and it's wrong, but that's the point sometimes. And I just love his visual imagination. I'll talk about that a little bit later in this list, actually. But Megalopolis is just such a fascinating look into a frankly deteriorating mind. Also, he is an old man, and this movie I think reflects him being an old man with complete editorial control over this film. The best sections of it, I suspect, were not filmed by him. But some of the stuff that I do, like, I think is also probably filmed by him. Like, the statues falling apart. I think of that a lot when Adam Driver's, like, going through the city and everything's falling apart around him.
New Rome.
Insane movie. I said it before, it's the defining movie of the early 21st century. It is everything good and everything wrong. I just love it.
Maybe the defining film of the Biden presidency.
It's
shut up.
I'm
Get
not
out
kidding.
Of my house.
That one's real. I get it. No,
I'm not kidding. I'm not even like I'm not being even a little facetious.
Yeah.
God, I just say my piece very quickly. Every like clip I've seen of this film, I'm getting so frustrated just listening to the way he directed this fucking like. The way the actors speak to each other, it's inhuman in a way that bugs me on a deep level.
Incredible.
You're too weak. You don't understand art.
The only part of this film that I have liked a lot was our friend Sky's transformation of going, I had to walk out of the theater to, this is the best film I've ever seen. I think that's really so fucking funny.
That's the problem with it, is that it's actually really fucking good.
He's the funniest guy. It's been kicking my ass for months.
I want to shout out other friend of the pod, Dante, who saw the movie in theater, and his theater had the option to buy Francis Ford Coppola's wine, so he got a glass of
I went to the Coppola wine. Today, when I went to my screening of Inland Empire, I wore a shirt that I got at the Francis Ford Coppola winery. I'm
clapping for you right now.
It was pretty sick.
Very happy, very happy. Next movie, number 9, A Fish Called Wanda. This is a movie that I had been aware of for years because it's one of my father's favorite movies.
Featuring controversial man John Cleese.
Chill guy, John Cleese. But it's also got Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin
non-controversial figure Jamie Lee Curtis.
and Kevin Kline, who is like in nothing else, but he's like the funniest man in this. Apparently he was in Beauty and the Beast, actually. What? Okay, I can't keep looking at that. But yeah, if you haven't seen A Fish Called Wanda, you should. It's truly one of the funniest movies ever made. It's nothing but jokes. It's constantly firing on all cylinders. There's shit in it that I like think about all the time. It's about a heist where, you know, these people, they steal some stuff, and then they're all trying to get the stuff that they stole afterwards. John Cleese is playing a miserable British lawyer who hates his life.
I can look for him, man.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis is playing, you know, a sexy thief trying to seduce him to get the information out of her fake husband who's on trial.
Amazing.
Kevin Kline is killing it as Otto, the insane assassin who is the dumbest man alive. He thinks I think the lie is like he thinks Buddhism is about survival of the fittest or something like that. Like he's just a maniac. Awesome. His introduction to the film is waking up with a copy of Beyond Good and Evil and then shooting his alarm clock. Like
maybe I should watch this film.
Dude, it's really it'll kill you. It's maybe so that's funny.
Maybe that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's amazing. I almost made us watch it for Oops All Movies, but I feel like it's difficult to talk about comedies in a way. You know, it's like, how many times can you just say, this thing is funny? So I passed on it.
We can figure it out. We can find a way.
You can find a way. I just don't know if I can find a way. But absolutely ascendant comedy if you haven't watched it. Just nothing else quite as funny. After that, number 8,
to listen.
I got Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I watched every Mission Impossible movie except for the latest one. Still haven't seen it. But I watched all of those last year. Just fell absolutely in love with these movies.
Bro loves
After
them.
the opening... What?
You love those fucking movies, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
They're amazing. Like,
I saw the trailer for Final Reckoning in theaters a few times while I was seeing movies with my friends in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time I'd be like I'd just be like freaking the fuck out about my Mission Impossible glub shittos. I'd be like, oh my god, they're bringing them back.
It's just a insanely perfect movie series. Mission Impossible 2 is what really sold me on it. Specifically that intro, you really shouldn't call me Dimitri. I'm just like, oh, I get Tom Cruise vehicle now. Like, I understand.
Like, I understand that
he is now your best friend.
That fan cam that I keep sending.
Yes, the fan cam that you keep sending. I'm like, I get why Tom Cruise is like, he's undeniable. And
he's undeniable. God,
he's kind of undeniable, dude. Watch these fucking movies and tell me he ain't. Even the Mission Impossible movies that I don't like that much, I still enjoy. Like,
putting you in a box.
Ghost Protocol is just like an amazing action film, constantly fun. I was on the edge of my seat when he's climbing that damn building. I was like losing my mind. Just a fantastic film. It's good. Number 7, Lake Mungo. We'll talk about it later. But it's a found footage film. I watched on a whim. I had heard about it years ago, and it just stuck with me, and I watched it, and I liked it quite a bit. We'll talk about it later.
Mid.
Number 6, High Plains Drifter. We'll talk about this later. This is another movie that I had heard about for years, because my father loves it, and loves Clint Eastwood as a whole. But we'll talk a bit more about that later. Now we get into what I like to call the Seth section of my list, in which all of these movies are because of Seth.
Yippee!
Number 5, House. You can listen to me and Seth talk about it on a mini-sode last year.
I want to mention real quick, I also showed this to someone very recently, and it was really interesting. Me watching it for the first time and them, and just losing my mind. It was a great time.
It's incredible.
This is good.
One of those movies.
Number 4, we talked about it earlier, Local Legends. I've recommended this to every artistic person in my life because I'm like, you have to watch this film. It will change. You will feel it. It is a beautiful film about creating art and just everything Seth said earlier. It's true.
I think about the joke throughout that movie of the venue shrinking more and more.
Yeah.
To the point where he has to pay the guy to be like, hey, like, I haven't gotten to pay the host. Can you do that for me?
God.
It's good. One of the funniest things ever.
Number 3, we didn't talk about this on the podcast, I'm pretty certain. But One from the Heart, Francis Ford Coppola, once again in my list. This is one of the most beautiful, striking films I've ever seen in my life.
It's incredible.
The images are there, and they're just... My God, I love this film. I watched this on a whim because you, Seth, had posted pictures from it. And I really liked the way it looked. So I was like, I'll throw this on. So I'm watching it, right? My partner comes out to make food, and I'm like 20 minutes in. I'm like, hon, you got to look at this. Like, just like look at it for a little bit, right? They start watching it, and then he's like, all right, I'm just going to watch this with you. Sits down on the couch. We're watching it together. My roommate comes out for something else. Sees it. We're 40 minutes in. Yes! And then he stands there for 30 watching it. Like, just...
It's mesmerizing.
It's captivating. There's nothing else looks this good or like this. It's just gorgeous. I will say I watched the director's cut, which cuts out, I think, 10-ish minutes. It's not a huge difference from my understanding. But it's just... and also,
cuts of that movie.
That's so awesome.
It's like the excess of this film is obscene because everything is on sound stages. There is a shot of the exterior of an airport that you see once. It is in one scene, and it's a whole ass airport. And I was like, oh my God. Like, there's this bankrupted the studio, crazy. And like you can see it on screen. Like,
It bankrupted the studio?
Yeah, it was real bad.
No!
A lot of people blame it for killing New Hollywood as like a movement.
Oh my god.
This movie, if I remember correctly, is basically why Francis Ford Coppola throughout the 80s and 90s is pumping out trash to make up the money that was lost on this film.
I don't fucking believe it.
Kind of got some bangers in there, though.
I mean,
You're a big jackhead.
I believe it.
That's 90s. That's one of the...
damn it.
He has one really good banger in the 90s, though.
And then number 2, I watched this at the pressing of Seths. He just was talking about it. Lawrence of Arabia. Another movie you just hear about a lot, and I watched it. I watched this twice. I watched this 4-hour movie twice last year because I watched it at home. I loved it, and then I saw that there was a screening.
Oh,
they were doing the anniversary screening. I was like, well, fuck, I gotta go see that on the big screen, you know? And let me tell you, that first 5 minutes where it's in the dark and it's just the music playing, it's insane when you're in the theater.
Fucking bad.
Yeah, when you're not a little scared.
You're like, oh my god.
When you're not a little scared that something's wrong.
You're just like,
I feel like you'd get a similar experience watching 2001 in a theater.
I would, yeah,
let me say it. Somebody who has. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
But yeah, I just
into that.
Just love Lawrence of Arabia. Obviously, it's there's stuff there. You can talk about it, but just an amazing movie. It's crazy that they could do that. And then number 1, a movie we talked about relatively extensively last year. Oops All Movies. The Adventures of Kosuke Kindaichi. Just a perfect movie. If you want to hear more thoughts, listen to that episode.
Let me say, I can probably talk about that movie a lot more now that I've read Umineko.
Oh, I imagine.
Read chunks of Umineko. Sorry, I'm not done with it.
Of course. But
if you want to see me be a hateful man, great episode.
But yeah, just like a remarkable film that I wish I was more informed about everything that makes that movie, because it's like I'm watching it and I can feel things that I'm missing, and yet I'm still captivated by it fully.
Real.
Just outstanding. But yeah, that's my top 10. So let's talk about the ones we picked out of our top 10s, shall we?
And to start off with, we've got our good friend Seth.
So the first movie we're going to talk about is Glen, or Glenda, directed by Edward D. Wood Jr. His first film.
That's wild.
Wait, what?
I didn't realize it was his first film.
It's his first film. Directed, which came out a year after the film that I chose to connect with this in our mini-sodes, being Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla.
One of the worst films I've ever seen in my life, and I still have not forgiven you for a movie that I said on the episode, if you had made Red watch it, he would have killed you.
Yeah, he would have been really... I keep thinking about that movie, though.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
You couldn't do something like that to me. That would be so mean.
It would be really mean. But Glen or Glenda is an educational film. About
it's like a PSA almost, like
it's like an educational PSA type deal about two people who like to express their sexuality in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
They're specifically their gender dysphoria in two separate ways.
Yeah.
What did you two think of this movie before I go into more detail about it?
So fucking good.
I found moments of it emotionally obliterative.
I
watched this with my trans partner. We sat down to watch it together because I was like, I want to watch this with you.
I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah, because I was like, I want your perspective on it, and I want we're all cis men, so I want.
I don't have that kind of connection to it, but even then, I'm like, this. Oh my god.
There are parts of this movie that
I'm non-binary. What are you talking about?
Okay, but you forget that. Anyways.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I've had to yell at you. It's fine. We can talk about this later. There are parts of this movie that genuinely brought me to tears. It just hit in such strong ways. There is something about the empathy across time for transness and queerness always affects me. And there are parts of this that you can feel Ed loving these characters and wanting the best. You can feel rubbing up against a world that will not allow these characters to exist the way they are.
Do you want to hear some context behind this film that will change how you feel these feelings, but not in like a bad way?
Yeah,
sure.
I think I read some of this stuff already.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So Ed Wood stars in the beginning of this film. He is Glen / Glenda.
Yes.
Who in this film is somebody who, in the context of the film, is a man who likes to sometimes pretend to be an alter ego called Glenda, and then eventually doesn't, which is kind of interesting.
Like,
which is pretty devastating.
Fuck me.
So Ed Wood plays Glen / Glenda, and Ed Wood's at the time partner plays his partner in the film. Ed Wood was somebody who liked to cross-dress a lot, secretly. Would like constantly talk about like wearing women's underwear in the army and being terrified that other men would figure it out. And was obsessed with specific like Angora. Just like that pink fluffy like that kind of deal. I truly fully believe that if times were different, Ed would probably not have identified as a man. Obviously, like, you know, that might not be great to speculate about, but just based on everything, how obsessed he was with this topic. But his partner did not know that he did this before this movie.
Oh.
This was their basically coming out.
Yeah.
Whoa, fuck.
To their partner and to, like, the world. Which I think just adds a layer to the empathy of the whole thing. And also, like, just every time this movie kind of stumbles in its representation, it just rings so sad to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that stumbling that, like, was what was getting me, though, because it felt like it was coming from this place of just dissociation with self and wanting to pass in a, like, really devastating way.
Yeah, a feeling. And I mean, like, I think this is a good time to kind of talk about this, because we tend to avoid, like, super serious topics on this podcast. But I think this is an important time in the world to, like, just say this in no uncertain terms, that we are obviously very in support of all of just transgender people and anybody trans in our community in any form. And this is not a place where any sort of bigotry will be tolerated in any form. Like, if I see that shit on wherever, I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna delete your shit. And I think this movie, it just really fucking hit me. It really, like, just the way it's so achingly personal.
Yeah.
And especially in my, like, first Letterboxd review, I say something along the lines of, like, most directors will go their entire career trying to make something so, like, naked and achingly personal, and Ed Wood just fucking does it on their first go. Yeah, like, it's their initial thing.
Just so much.
And you talk about your feelings on it, since we cut you off.
Yeah, I don't know. My review on it, like, when I was posting, was very simple, just because I was working. I don't know. I was working through a lot of feelings just about it in general and how it relates to very specific, like, very selfishly, just like how I felt about it in relation to me, and how this film was really fucking hitting me in the, like, a man trying to recontextualize something into something else to make it easier for them. And, like, that's been kicking my ass in, like, relation to this film. Like, the way that, like, now knowing this additional context is making me feel a lot of things.
I was tearing up, like, while rewatching it again. Like, I just truly, it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful and personal film. and I've seen several other Ed Wood films, and I do quite like them. But Ed Wood has a certain reputation among the film going audience, and I do think it's sad. And I mean, like, there's some of the like funny Ed Woodisms throughout this.
Oh,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
Like, nothing but the infinity of a man's mind could truly tell the tale. Like, stuff like that. Or the whole rant about...
I mean, every Bela Lugosi scene, it's like, what?
Oh my... But here's the thing.
What is he talking about?
Why are you here? But also, near the end of the movie, when he says his fucking, like, green dragon thing, I was genuinely...
so good.
Like, I felt it. It eats little boys, and I'm like, oh my god.
I'll fucking say this. One of the complaints I had about Brooklyn Gorilla was that the director didn't know how to fucking film Bela Lugosi. Ed gets it. Ed understands immediately what Bela Lugosi's got going on and what we want to see. Like,
Ed got the assignment. He understood what he had to do.
Yeah, it's
just... But I do think it's kind of sad that due to Ed's reputation, it just feels like it's kind of an uphill battle. So, I mean, this movie is like, I don't need to do a bunch of work to try to like reclaim this or whatever. That work's been done for me. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
But I do think like this is a movie that I think more people should check out, and I think it, especially now, it's just so interesting, and you can find it on YouTube. Like, you can find it literally.
Oh
anywhere.
yeah, it's everywhere. It's
I just googled it. It was right there.
Yeah,
Public domain, baby.
It's great.
Yeah.
I almost bought the colorized version of this.
Oh.
Just to see what that was like, but I couldn't get myself to do that because black and white films, when they're colorized, kind of look hideous. So
I don't mind. I was thinking about something similar with the Forbidden Zone, the Oingo Boingo movie before they were the band Oingo Boingo and they were the Knights of Oingo Boingo. I was thinking about that because I watched the colorized version. I think the colorized version of that works really well. Because that movie just looks so strange already. Although, I also kind of prefer it because it does lightly remove the blackface that movie starts with otherwise.
Yeah, good to not have in.
It turns it into clown makeup instead of blackface. So that's a little more stomachable.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Interesting movie. Fun
Interesting movie. Fascinating movie.
With this film, one thing I wanted to point out in particular, just as we're talking about it, came back to mind, was how the doctor kept framing all the things he did as cures.
Yeah.
And it sits with me in a really devastating way.
The ending where it's like, and then Glen was cured, and I'm like,
he was normal.
Whoa! Like it's like the. Not only the idea of curing, quote unquote, curing something like this is like disgusting and just like hits horribly, but the cure itself of like, well, you see, you will have to become his mother. It's just like, what the fuck is happening?
I messaged Ren like right after I rewatched it because I wasn't sure if you had seen it yet, James. But the scene where he's like, she'll be his mother, his wife, and his little sister, all rolled up into one, and most importantly, his Glenda. And it's like, what are you saying here?
What is happening? Like, where are we? Who am I?
That final bit was so fucking much.
It was crazy. I don't know. I think with the it. Undeniably, like it's upsetting. It's upsetting in a way that you can't fully get around, even with like some extra context. But I think with the extra context, it has even more of a ring of sadness to it because it's like this one specifically was like this was his life. This was Ed's like life basically. Dramatized, obviously, but just this idea that like in one day. I'll be the way that society wants me to be.
Because that's what he wanted. He wanted just to fit in. Into the hang he thought he should.
It's just so fucking sad. And also it comes after shit a whole rant Like, you should feel lucky, little Miss Female. Your hats aren't made to make you bald.
That shit killed me. Dude, I was losing my mind about the bald hat thing. I was like, whoa!
It's great. It's so fun. The other thing about this movie is it is pretty funny.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable.
It's just a good time, and it's like 70 minutes or something.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's in it. It's out.
There's that one bit where the other queer character was like caught sitting in their house in women's clothes, and their fucking wife walks in and she does the fucking 50s like fists on the hips, just and I'm like, oh, really got me in a way.
It hits you weird. It hits strange
because it's playing it up in that movie. Fucking. That's a beautiful movie, but it's playing it up in the way that old cinema did. That really kicks my ass.
It really gets you.
It's good.
It's a great movie. I think people should watch it. It's really fascinating.
I will say,
if you're just any interest in queer cinema,
definitely,
just, give it a go.
Definitely give it a go. I will say, make sure you're in the right headspace, especially right now. I don't want. This is a movie that I think can very easily hurt you if you're not in the right space for it.
Definitely.
So be aware. I think we've been pretty clear about some of the pitfalls and like some of the stuff that happens in the movie, but like be aware.
And obviously, as two people aren't like, transitioning genders in that way. We don't have that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's parts of here where we've really struggled to talk about some of these characters because the way the movie presents them is complicated.
Yes, it's nothing is clear. Part of that is just the time of it all, like when it was made, and also just like these are complicated topics.
Yeah, a lot of the the language to really talk about it with the sensitivity that we have now kind of didn't exist.
No, even in like academic circles, just wasn't there. Like,
there's an inherent negativity that is put upon these characters as them being sick. Like, it's portrayed in a medical sense of a thing that needs to be cured.
I really liked Will Sloan's review. He has a line. One of his reviews, he has a line that's a progressive film that periodically believes it needs to be a reactionary one. Like that I think that really captures it.
I also really love one of his other reviews, which is when cinema sleeps, this is what it dreams.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty sick.
It's real. Especially that dream sequence near the end, where like the hallucinatory shit. That shit's crazy.
And
that's the shit.
Because we probably won't be able to bring him up later, because we don't really have the chance to. Mm-hmm. But David Lynch passed away recently.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very happy you're bringing this up, actually.
And I don't think there's any like I don't think he's ever like outright said that he was a fan of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
At least as far as I've like been able to see. But long speculated that he is. Allegedly, the wind sound effect that's used in this is also used in Eraserhead.
Oh, cool.
Yes, a pseudo homage. But I really do think if you are a Lynch fan,
definitely, yes,
this will be interesting for you.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, because that was something I thought while watching.
May he rest in
peace.
Like, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Oh, just it's absurd that he's gone already. Like I can't even accept it. But yes, the dream sequence that we mentioned, like there's like parts like the way the background looks and everything, it made me think of like what I'd seen of Eraserhead exactly. It was like,
I think all of the Bela Lugosi stuff especially is just so like in that wheelhouse. It's fascinating.
It's fun. This film is doing so much.
It's great.
Well, enough of that fucking thoughtful shit that makes us feel things. Let's talk about Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, Ren.
This makes me feel the most things.
Tell
Ren,
us about
can you explain to me what the fuck connected to this?
Yeah, I can't figure it out.
You're putting me on the spot.
Can you like explain yourself?
Like, I don't care how tenuous the connection is. I just really need to know what it is.
Well, my friends, what's more harrowing than fighting the were-rabbit.
Is it the Revenant? Is that what's going on here?
No, it's what's more harrowing than fighting the were-rabbit?
Is it
And just like the were-rabbit, your bros come inside you, but instead of your bros, it's a rabbit you caught and put in a cage. This is a difficult one. I kind of just wanted to show you the Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
I can't believe you would betray our holy format like this.
I was trying my best.
The sacred bond of the Bog Frog Book Bot Oops All Movies.
You
format.
know, there's Leonardo DiCaprio gets inside of a bear.
He gets inside a horse.
Oh, yeah,
well, he kind of gets inside of a bear.
He kind of gets inside of a bear in a way of thinking.
Yeah.
In a very real way.
In a very
real roundabout way.
Alright, let's talk about Dude Bro Party Massacre.
Dude Bro Party Massacre is one of the best films of this generation, where
it's fine.
A bunch of dudes who are being tormented by the horrible killer Motherface must band together after being exiled from Frat Row during Greek Week to go to a cabin in the woods where they can party all by themselves. And during this adventure, they are hunted by Motherface, all while Brock's brother Brent must do his best to solve his murder and find the true secrets behind the frat and who truly is Motherface. It might be Ronald Reagan.
It might be.
It's been said.
It's been said. What did you guys think of this film? We all watched it together.
I'm gonna let James speak first.
It's cute. I liked it enough. I think it can be very funny. I think it also isn't smart enough to get out of its own way in some places and can't resist its own worst instincts, which I found dragged the whole experience down for me.
It's like the Bang Bus.
The Bang Bus is good.
That's
good.
I don't love the Bang Bus, but I do really like. Here's a copy of whatever the
Catcher
fuck.
in the Rye. The Grapes of Wrath.
Here's $100 and $200 and a copy of Grapes of Wrath. Have it read by morning.
Once you find shelter, you better read that book.
That's like one of my favorite jokes in that whole thing.
A lot of like that character really was doing it for me up until the very end, where I was like, okay, please just stop. Like, come on.
What do you mean?
And that's I think a lot of this movie for me is I really like it, but then there's just points where I'm like, okay, I get it. It's very 2015 internet horseshit. This is like, what's that fucking VHS Kung Fu parody movie? Kung Fury?
Oh, no. Yeah.
It's very Kung Fury.
This is better than Kung Fury.
I can't believe
think
you don't
like Officer
like
better than
Finkel.
Kung Fury, but it's in that wheelhouse in a way that I'm like, I want to scrape it off after a while, where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like
that's fair enough.
But
I don't like that she was a bag of oranges.
No, I hated that.
That's a joke that's like, it's so stupid that I'm like, I can't really be mad at it.
I like it earlier,
but it's just not funny.
No, it's not. And I'm just like, oh my god, please.
I think that's our difference, because like how stupid it was fucking elevating me.
Here's the thing though, the scene of him fucking the bag of oranges.
It's so fucking good.
That part's kind of funny.
Pretty good.
I just think it's like my. So I saw this. I got to see this in a theater with the director and two of the stars.
She's just so awesome.
They did a little Q&A. It was a ton of fun. Not a ton of people were there, but I bought the DVD and I bought the novelization.
I remember that. Yeah,
read. Gotta read that.
I still haven't. I've read like a few pages, and I thought it was pretty funny. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And my opinion of this, like, I think this is a movie that has just grown on me the longer it's been in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it a few times, and I still don't like love it, but every time I've seen it 3 times now. I saw it in theaters. I watched the commentary a couple months ago, and then I watched it with you two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's better than you'd think, like, because I go into this and I'm like, okay, you know, I've seen this kind of slasher parody film.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And, you know, normally they have, like, one joke, and it's not very funny, and, like, there isn't a lot of, like, care for the thing, and I don't think that... not necessarily... I don't actually think that the people who made this probably, like, really give that much of a shit about, like, low-budget slasher films, but I think they, like... The jokes are like kind of always about that, but they go in such like different directions than I would think. That I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's not like just being like, hey, isn't it funny that we're pretending to be a low budget slasher sequel? Isn't that really funny? It's like there's some of that, and normally it is pretty funny. Like they do funny things with it. And then they just kind of do their own thing on top of it, which I really appreciate. It's just like it's a fun hangout movie.
I was thinking about this. I should have brought this up earlier. Where what you said, where you're like, it doesn't feel like it's necessarily super like in love with the genre that it's playing with, you know?
Yeah.
I will say, I do think somebody in here is a big fan of. I don't know how to say this man's last name. David Dakota, I think.
Oh yeah, David Dakota.
Yeah. Because like I just
Who's that?
He's the guy. He's done a bunch of like low budget films in the 80s and 90s, like direct to video.
He's a gay man.
He's a gay man, and famous. His most famous film is A Talking Cat! ! But the thing about him is he did like all these like slasher movies and stuff that were also had like just a lot of homoeroticism in them, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Like,
it's a lot of shirtless men in their underwear taking showers, but nothing explicit like ever. Which is kind of the funny part. Like it never gives you it like completely. It never goes full hog.
Oh,
but it's always kind of there.
And like learning about this guy I had to learn about him after watching this with you guys. It was like, oh, okay. That's what this movie's playing with. I'm like, okay, this is like the specific, because like something we have not brought up is the amount of like subtext unto just text of like all of these guys are fucking each other. Like these frat bros are just definitely fucking each other.
Keep talking to me about my bros.
Yeah.
That scene fucking rocked.
That scene is so really good. Like, and so it's like, okay, well, I think they're probably playing off of that, which I don't know, something there. That I thought that was worth bringing up.
Yeah,
I definitely think that's part of it, and I think it is mostly pretty. Like, I don't think the joke isn't necessarily, haha, they're gay.
Yeah,
it's definitely a bit more than that,
yeah, it informs other jokes.
Definitely,
yes.
The fact that they are like so deep into the frat system and all of its toxic masculinity that it has wrapped around to them like being like the coolest thing you can do is hate women so much that you want to have sex with men.
Well, it's like that. It's like that 4chan post that's like, gay sex is less gay than normal sex or whatever. Like where the guy like does the math. Like it's exactly that. Like it's definitely there.
It's so much.
It's so much, and that's
all the time.
At the very end, where I'm just like, they're going in his ass. I get it. I'm like, yeah. Keep it going.
I'll always be with you inside your butt.
I just really, come on, carry on. Like,
Jay was at that point. You were just like, I'm good.
That's really where I just hit my point of like, okay, this movie needs to end. Like,
the bag of oranges fully killed you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done. Citrus killed me. I'm dead.
But
I think that's our difference, is because like it just kept going. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. It just kept getting stupider.
I love the Parchtown joke.
I
love everything about it. So for context, the whole the backstory for this movie is it like in the universe is that the frat is like famous for doing these like for being like monsters. They're like truly just awful.
Just terrorists,
like
a paramilitary terrorist group, like
agents
domestic
of
terrorists.
And at one point, for one of their pranks, they flooded old Parchtown. So now it's the lake they're staying on, and there's this joke where one of the bros gets cut in half and falls into the lake, and his body floats down to old Parchtown in like which is made in like dioramas.
Yeah, it's just little like diorama, little miniatures.
And his body breaks the old church. And all of the bodies that have been trapped in the church start floating to the surface.
It's just so next level.
That's like the funniest joke in the movie. Like,
it's so good.
And the guy who sells boat rentals on the lake.
Make it goofy.
And him just being like, yeah, life's been really good since you killed my whole family. Like,
oh, that's my little boy.
Oh, it's good.
Oh man,
it's fucking good.
Oh, I always feel so bad for the girlfriend they hate.
They hate her so much.
They hate her so much.
Oh man, but speaking of the girlfriend they hate, when the fetus shows up during the butt scene,
it's so
when the spirit of the fetus shows up, I kind of love it.
It's just so fucking good. It's such a bummer they push away your girlfriend at the end from joining the bros and spirit fucking vortex in his asshole. It's such a bummer.
Yeah, good movie, fun time.
Everybody should watch this film if you want just the stupidest experience you could have.
It is a lovely time. See it, just watch it with friends.
Definitely watch this one with friends. Yeah.
It's a good time. Like it's a nice time. It's a nice enough time to like watch by yourself. If you've probably already seen it, like just throw on as like a background thing. But like when you watch it the first time, I really do think you should see it with friends so you can like laugh at it and have a good time, laugh with it.
I think my first time was fully solo, and I was doing great. But it probably would have been elevated with other people.
A movie that was apparently made for you, and I didn't
even
I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all.
No,
I'm very happy about it.
There are a few films that have reached this level of stupid for me that have really experienced. Like I've seen Airplane, which you guys are saying like you haven't seen Airplane. You should. I was like, I saw Airplane as a child. I should probably watch it again.
But like, it's really good.
Probably. It's just this film is a level of pure like unabashed stupid that just keeps going. That for me resonates on a level of yeah, this bit does suck. Let's keep going.
Incredible.
That's
a few things that make James angrier.
I just hate it. I
hate it so much.
Yeah. It's fine. It's a fun movie.
Anyway,
I smiled.
As Dubro Party Massacre. Did you smile? Yeah. As Dubro Party Massacre 3, everyone's favorite movie of the year. James.
Yeah.
What was your favorite movie of the year?
It's not my favorite movie.
Not this.
Of the year, but
a movie you like a lot.
High Plains Drifter. So before we talk about this movie, I want to do two things. One, content warning. There are graphic scenes of sexual assault in this film that are really difficult to watch, and I don't want anybody to watch this movie and be surprised by them, or listen to this conversation and be surprised by them. I don't want anybody to like be upset because they listen to this. The content warning out of the way. Two, I want to talk about my relationship with Clint Eastwood.
This is a lot.
So, growing up as a child, my father loved Clint Eastwood. I've known Clint Eastwood as a figure since I was a little kid. I'd seen the Dirty Harry, Do You Feel Lucky, We'll Do You Punk scene. I knew Clint Eastwood. I've seen photos of him forever. He is, in my mind, is the ultimate good guy, right? Like, just as like a figure in cinema. And I want to drive this point home. A while ago, I was visiting my parents, and I took a photo of a wall in my father's like room, right? So I want you guys to see this, and I don't think I've sent this to either of you before, so I don't think you've seen it. This is what my father's wall in his room looks like.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
For the listener,
that's fucking incredible.
It is two posters of the Buffalo Bills, my father's favorite football team. And then two posters. One is a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And then the other is actually a framed photo of Clint Eastwood.
Framed!
As a child, Clint Eastwood might as well have been Jesus Christ, and the Buffalo Bills his 12 disciples. Like this man is a god to me, right? Like that is just like in my bones at this point. So I think to myself one day, I'm gonna watch this movie, High Plains Drifter. I know my dad really likes it. It's one of the ones he really likes. I'm gonna throw it on. I'll have a great time. Clint, he's a cowboy. What could you possibly ask for? And then I just had my soul hollowed out.
Yeah, you're like, there's a indescribable evil.
As I see Clint Eastwood do some of those horrific shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this.
This is basically...
don't know what to do with this movie, in fact.
This is basically Clint Eastwood reenacting the 24-hour issue of Sandman with an entire town over like weeks.
Oh god.
He's just like manipulating this fucking town to do horrible things.
The story is Clint Eastwood, a man with no name, but he's not
the
man
devil
with no name. He comes into town. The town is having a bandit problem, and so the town hires him. He ruins the town and then leaves. The bad guys come in. They ruin the town further, and then he kills the bad guys like a fucking slasher villain, and then leaves again.
And I want to drive the point home that he's only hired because the people they hired to protect them,
he killed,
tried to kill Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, fuck that, and just disposed of them.
So I want to talk about my specific reading of this film, which is Clint is the wrath of God in this. Like, he is like Old Testament wrath of God. Did this stick out to either of you? The scene where the old sheriff, because we learned that there was a sheriff in this town before who had been killed, and it's specifically the town got him killed because he would have reported some stuff that would have got them in trouble. So like the whole town is responsible for his murder, and so. But did you notice anything about the sheriff himself?
No.
Did they?
So when I watched this movie for the first time, I thought that sheriff was Clint Eastwood. I had to look this up.
Oh.
He is Clint Eastwood's stunt double. And they explicitly film it so you can see his face and you can have that moment of, is that Clint Eastwood or is that someone else? And it is someone else. It's just, like I said, it's a stunt double that he'd used for years who looks a lot like him.
I didn't catch that.
And so, in the international cut, which I don't like this as much, but it's worth mentioning, in the international cut, at the very end, when the little person asks Clint, like, who are you? And he says, you already know. There is a line there where instead he says something along the lines of, like, the sheriff was my brother, or something like that. Like, it's something like
well, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't like that. I don't like that. But I do like the idea that he is, like, some sort of, like, avenging spirit. He is a wraith here to destroy this town for, destroying a good man sort of thing. But even then, Jesus Christ. Like,
it's a lot.
The devil.
He's evil. Like,
I mean, that was my read on the movie. It's just, I was like, he's death. He's just death. He's riding in on a pale horse. He paints the town.
It literally turns the town to hell.
He's wearing the black hat.
Yeah, he's all in black. Yeah. Like, it's insane. It also, though, here's the problem. Here's the problem with it being insane. It's not as easy as reading this movie as Clint is an evil man, because he's Clint fucking Eastwood, and he's got charisma, and he'll say shit, and you're like, fuck, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's like, damn, I want to like him, and then he does a terrible thing to a woman, specifically, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what am I supposed to be feeling about you right now?
The scene after he does that, after he rapes her, where she tries to tell the town.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah,
and they just And they just completely, and every like high-ranking man in the town just is like, we don't care.
Yeah, like who cares? Like
one of them even like gets mad at her.
Yeah, for being upset. Like, what are you doing? You're ruining this. Like,
you're ruining this. You're gonna ruin the town or whatever.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Which is awful. And I mean, they kind of get their comeuppance a little bit.
They do. I mean, that's the thing, right?
It's just also Clint is just completely unscathed, despite being like the evil soul of America.
Yeah. And like, but then also, you know, he's this wicked bastard. There's also the scene in the general store, once he's been told that he can do whatever he wants, basically, where there's the Native American folk who are there, and the store owner doesn't want them touching anything, so he just gives them blankets. And
he just gives them all of the blankets, and he gives them
all
all the shit that they need.
Maybe he is a good guy. Like, it's just like so complicated. There's no answer on this movie.
He gives the little person in the town who's constantly disrespected power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives some respect. Like
he has, like, he's got something. I don't know, like, what I mean, intentionally, I think this movie is avoiding giving you any easy way to, like, get out of it and being like, this is X, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't try and go, he's the power of the disenfranchised, because, like, the fuck he is!
Yeah!
He's doing, like, unspeakable crimes to people, dude!
Yeah,
it doesn't work in a lot of ways, and I think that's what makes it so strong.
And I think
it's just full of contradiction.
And the power of this movie also comes with the context, like big point of why I wanted to bring up, like, what Clint Eastwood means to me. Is like, that's not dissimilar to what he meant to, like, the world at this point. At this point, he had already been the man with no name. Like, and this film is, like, in that Sergio Leone, like, style. Like, it's very much playing off of those movies. Which, I mean, makes sense. Clint directs this film, but he had obviously learned a lot from working with Leone at the time. And apparently, like, I don't remember where I read this, but, like, John Ford was furious about this movie and, like, its whole deal, and, like, wrote him a letter being like, how fucking dare you, sort of thing. Like, this is not what the West is about.
That's interesting because I would say, like, one of the, like, old Westerns that I would say this is, like, pretty similar to in, like, the way it handles, like, just the myth of the cowboy is John Ford's The Searchers. Which kind of talks about, like, not necessarily, it definitely does it in, like, a different way, and has probably, like, worse politics than this overall.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But it does something very similar with John Wayne, who is the cowboy.
Yeah,
like,
he's like the guy.
Yeah.
And makes him this, like, he's this, like, he's a man who all of his rage and anger is useless and evil in this time, and he gets left behind after doing some heinous thing that the movie knows is bad. John Ford's in it is a fascinating director.
I believe
so is Clint Eastwood. For similar reasons. Clint Eastwood is also a very interesting director.
Yeah, and I've been going through the Clint Eastwood filmography right now, slowly but surely, you know, watching a film or two. And this is probably, out of everything I've seen from him, my favorite. It's just
fascinating.
The fact that it's his second movie is kind of insane.
It's his second?
Yeah. Before this, the only thing he had directed was Play Misty for Me.
What the fuck?
Which is a, like, horror slasher film where a woman is obsessed with him and he's like a radio DJ. It's a fun movie. Like, you'll have fun.
Referenced in the Moturn film Obscure Todd. Obtuse Todd, sorry.
Makes sense. I think
one thing
that I've really been thinking about while watching through all of these Clint Eastwood movies is the thing that I notice as a director the most, like, the thing that, like, is the Clint Eastwood thing to me is, like, landscape shots. Dude loves, like, a vista. Like, he loves mountains. He'll just, like, put the camera and make you watch one for a while. Like, that's for sure. Really heavy. High Plains Drifter, Outlaw, Bronco Billy. Eiger Sanction is, like, built of that. You just look at a damn mountain and, like, Monument Valley for a bunch of time. And this movie has that. It has just that gorgeous shot of him coming out of the desert. I also think it's worth noting that the music is, like, horror music. Like, that's something that really jumped out to me this time is the theme, like the sounds are like really harsh synthetic sounds. It sounds like a horror movie at times. That's that final sequence where the town is burning and it's at night and Clint is like whipping the guys and like pulling them away from everyone. Like he's just a horror villain at that point. Like
he is a horror villain, and you keep getting flashes of that which adds this whole like not of that, but just of the act of people getting whipped.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in the film.
It's a fascinating movie. I don't really know. I don't know how to. Like, I don't know what I really exactly think it's saying, but I know it's fascinating.
And then, like, watching this so close to Unforgiven as well really accentuated both movies for me this time. Because, like, the character in Unforgiven is so easily read as the character in High Plains Drifter. Like, they're obviously not like, literally the same, but, like, the old man that Clint is playing in Unforgiven is the type of person who was Clint in High Plains Drifter. Like, he's the man, you know, he's riding a pale horse in that movie too. He's also death. Like, he just can't be stopped once he starts. Which is, you know, fascinating to watch those movies together. And then also you bring up the imagery of the whip. That's how what's his face? Gene Hackman punishes people in Unforgiven. That's how he kills Morgan Freeman, is whipping him to death. So, like, I don't know, something there.
He's got some idea. Clint's a fascinating guy.
He's so fast.
There's a legacy of violence between these films, and Unforgiven is really, really toying with what was presented in High Plains Drifter.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, also just like all of the westerns Clint had done up to that point is also worth thinking. Like, it's not just High Plains Drifter, but like those are the two that I think connect the easiest to think about because they're both extremes in different ways.
I think that's why they're both so striking.
It's that Clint Eastwood guy. I think he knows what he's doing.
I think so much about the one I always think about where I'm like, this Clint guy, he has ideas, is I want to watch 1517 to Paris so fucking bad.
Right?
What the fuck is that?
That's like what I'm working.
It's one of his newest movies. It's about in Paris, correct?
Yeah, yes, I believe. No, it's like they're going from, I think, Belgium or something. It's one of the more northern European countries.
It's a group. It's based on a real life event where a group of tourists stop a train bombing.
Yeah, like it was an attack on a train. Yeah, and it's specifically the men were like, they were, I think, in the Navy or something together. I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Our boy Todd gave it half a star.
Oh, Todd.
Todd, no. But the interesting thing about that movie is that Clint got the real dudes to play themselves in that movie, and apparently he wanted the terrorists to be able to play themselves. Some of the
people on the train were the actual people who were on that train.
I heard that he really wanted to, like, originally. I mean, maybe that's incorrect, but it sounds like something he'd want to fuck around with.
I mean, yeah,
so real.
Fucking love Clint.
That's awesome.
Nobody's doing it like him. Like, I was like ranting in rage about the way juror number 2 is treated to my partner's friends. I was like, "Can you believe it? It is the Clint!" Like, he made them. I'm screaming. I'm so mad.
Feeling a rage.
But I'm working my way to it. I'm on Firefox right now. Just watch Bronco Billy, a movie that, Seth, I said it to you before. You're gonna love Bronco Billy. It's got that Thunderbolt and Lightfoot energy to it that, like, I can't fuck with it particularly, but like it'll get you.
I just like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot really gets me, especially I love that fucking scene when they meet the dude who has all the animals in his car.
That's just crazy. That's like the
what? It's so
weird,
like,
dude. It's
disorienting.
Impossible. Like,
what do you mean by that?
I just watched Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. That movie's incredible.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Clint's also just like funny. He's like a funny guy in a way that I don't think gets enough appreciation. I
think a lot about, this isn't him obviously, but I think a lot about Jean-Luc Godard calling him Mr. Honky Tonk Man.
Dude, there's a movie called Honky Tonk Man that he makes.
Fuck yeah!
In 1982, after Firefox, he is the Honky Tonk Man in Honky Tonk Man. I'm pretty certain.
I believe it.
I gotta get into that one. But I think we said all we got on High Plains Drifter. Unless y'all have anything else to add.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like it. It's a movie that I definitely plan to rewatch in the future, and I'm sure I'll get even more out of it.
I don't know if I'm up for a rewatch. It just really took it out of me.
It's harsh. It's
a
really
rough one.
Hits you in a way that it's brutal.
Okay, so let's
moving
transition
along
to my film of the year, Robert Altman's Nashville, which I get the sense that my two co-hosts were not a huge fan of.
I'll fuck with it.
Do not think I gave this movie a fair shot. So for context, first of all, I did like it. I think I liked it.
I think both of you liked it. I mean, both of you
it.
gave it positive rating.
Yeah,
or you didn't give it a rating at all.
I'd give it a thumbs up, but part of the problem is I watched this in 3 sittings. So
yeah, that's not
ideal.
I watched the first hour of it in the throes of some of the most bone deep exhaustion sickness I've ever felt. I was in a bad way, but I was like, I have to watch these fucking movies. I have to watch all these movies for this goddamn show. And I was like,
gotta do it.
I gotta do it. So I threw on Nashville. And when you're in a weird space, this movie does things to you. I was just sitting there, letting it happen to me until about an hour in. I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't.
I really thought this was gonna be a war against you and Seth. Just of me being I just don't get it. But this is interesting.
I watched an hour of it. Then a day or two later, when I was feeling better, I watched another hour of it. And I was just I can't do this right now. I have to do something else. And I paused it and I watched the last 30 minutes yesterday.
What a last 30 minutes, though.
It's insane, dude.
It's doing a lot.
And I'll be honest, I liked it, but I don't know what to do with it. Because of the fragmented way I watched it, the way this movie is just built, I did a thing because I knew going into this, one of the things that people always talk about is the audio mixing and the way things just kind of flow in and out of each other, and it's kind of hard to pick up specific sentences sometimes. So I did what I almost never do, and I did not turn on subtitles. I just let the movie happen at me.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And let me tell you, I have gaps where I just don't know what characters we're talking about.
Very fair. I that is kind of one of the... That was one of the big Altman thing, which crosstalk.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't something that was very common in films until Altman kind of does it a lot. He really likes that kind of free form, very naturalistic feeling conversations and noise. So characters will talk over each other. Characters in groups will just start having other conversations.
It's one of the things that was really getting me. Sometimes the camera will be focusing on one character and you'll be hearing a conversation that is happening off camera. But sometimes those characters you're looking at are talking to each other, but you can't really hear them because you're listening to another conversation. It feels
I didn't fuck with that.
I love it.
It is.
I don't.
I knew that would bother you. I knew that would just get at you, Red.
You just gotta let it wash over you.
I understand where the two of you are coming from because it's such an interesting move to direct it like that, and it really does put you in the space in a way that no other director is, and I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
But the actual experience for me just left me feeling very frustrated, a little annoyed.
Yeah, that's what I expected you to feel. I know you know how you react.
That's very fair. I think this movie's hilarious. I think this so the context. I can't go into all of what this movie is.
No,
but this is 1975 movie by Robert Altman. I believe it is his 12th film.
God, he's made so many of these damn things.
He's made a ton of movies. And this is one of the 12 or 13 movies he made in the 70s.
God damn.
Just smack dab in the middle of that whole process. And it is about...
That's a lot.
It is about the town of Nashville during a big rally centered around... I want to say, is it Barbara Jean? I think is her name.
Barbara Jean, yes. Yeah.
Barbara Jean, the like biggest country music Nashville star currently. There's an election going on in the back and they're really pushing. There's a lot of hubbub about a guy I can't remember the name of, who is the leading member of the replacement party. I don't know if you guys caught that that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch that.
I rewatched this the other day with my lovely partner Kat, and we just couldn't stop talking about that. We're like, that's fucking crazy.
Damn.
And it is about 24 different characters, all kind of just like going around the Nashville music scene and like what that kind of means to them. And more than anything, it's a movie about wanting desperately to be seen by the people around you and what the desire to... I think a lot of everything that, like, when Barbara Jean near the end of that movie is just fucking like ranting and rambling in front of the crowd.
That's good.
And nobody cares.
No, they're not only
they're mad at her.
They're terrible.
Or I can't remember her name, but the waitress who gets roped into performing at like a really seedy bar and then being forced to strip in front of everyone.
It's just,
which is one of the most gut-wrenching scenes I've ever seen in any movie ever.
And you were fucking pointing out earlier, it's right before the fucking I Am Easy song, and it just sucks.
It's right after that.
It's
right after,
which is
it just sucks, dude.
Maybe like my favorite scene in like one of my favorite scenes in any movie. It's like as good as anything has ever been. Not the I'm Easy scene.
No,
just one of my favorite things. This movie has a bunch of dudes in it, a bunch of people,
a bunch of real stand-up gentlemen.
What do you think of Jeff Goldblum going around on a big old momotorcycle and doing magic tricks?
I didn't even realize that was Jeff Goldblum for most of it. I was like, wait a second, dude, what is that Goldblum? I was like, because I saw it because in the beginning it does like the cast where it just says all the characters and stuff. Jeff Goldblum pops up, so I was like watching for him the whole time. I was like, where the fuck is Jeff Goldblum? And then I was like, wait, is that him?
He doesn't have a single damn line. No. He's just going around picking people up.
He's frankly barely in shot sometimes. I'm just like, he's awesome. He's a speck half of the movie.
I'll be real, I never fucking realized that was Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fucking crazy.
He's in a couple Altman movies, and I think he's in like 4, and in 2 of them he does not have a single goddamn line.
Oh, God bless.
But he's so memorable to me in both of them.
Jeff.
That fucking the car crash where all the cars are just piling up. Again, that was during the section where I was like deep in exhaustion, and I was like,
that's no good. That's no good for that portion of the movie.
Who are these people?
Incredible. Love all these guys. I hate the fucking BBC journalist. She's awful. She's the best.
Much.
She's the best.
Oh, of course you think that. The way she fucking
no, because she sucks. I love this woman who just sucks and is like,
she will not
trying to fuck everyone.
The way she's talking about the choir singers, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's no good, dude. It's no good.
I was like, Jesus.
This movie, I think the way this movie kind of treats fame is super interesting. I love the old dude, the like old Nashville star who's a little bit faded, but you don't really like go away if you're one of these people, you know? You just kind of, as long as you're putting out music, you can keep going. And I think the song he's singing at the beginning is one of the funniest fucking things in the entire world.
I was really fucking with it. I was like, yeah, this is what it's about.
Also,
that shit fucking rocks.
I know Ren did not fuck with this part of the movie. I kind of adore the decision to be like, yeah, you're gonna sit through a bunch of music, and most of it's kind of gonna be bad.
Yeah, dude, I hate musicals. I don't want to sit and watch someone sing. I'd to put in my headphones and do something else when there's any music going on. Can't do a concert. I want to do anything else. Too many people, too many noises, too many things going on. And now suddenly subjected in my free time to a bunch of bad singing in like really weird shots, and I don't know what to make of it.
But then you get like, there's like 2 or 3 people in there that are like, wow, these people are like actually really good. See that? Carradine, the guy who sings I'm Easy, is like, every time he is singing, it's like, you can't keep your eyes off him.
I was like, holy
He's kind of electric.
It's like, it's fucked up. One of the characters who I liked their performance, they don't even really show up. It's just like one of the black country music singers who has like one song at the beginning of the movie and then like doesn't really show up anymore. Like, oh, you're really good.
He said some shit in that film that really kicked my ass.
Oh, he's awesome.
The fucking scene where they're at the NASCAR race, and the one
who's like hitchhiking to Nashville to try to avoid
that rocks.
That rocks. But I was thinking the scene where it's Haven Hamilton's the character's name.
Yeah, that's
where they're getting the food out. He's got that massive fucking watermelon, and he's trying to give it to his like black
God
PA. Like, I don't really understand the relationship there, but like there's a power difference, you know. And he's like trying to give it to him, and his wife's like, "Stop doing that." He's like, "No, I'm trying to help." Like, you can't hear what they're saying, but he's obviously like, "No, I'm trying to be a good guy," and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he doesn't realize what he's doing.
The fuck do you mean you're trying to be a good guy?
He's fucking awful.
The BBC reporter asks him, the black guy, like, well, how is it? He's like, oh, he's a progressive man. Like, yeah, like
the funniest shit in the world.
Jesus.
That seems so really good, and then immediately going to one of the characters who's trying to become a big Nashville star, run away from her shitty husband or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just singing, and you just can't hear her
at all.
It's fucking awesome,
man. There was that.
I loved watching.
There's that whole
NASCARs go around, though. Let me tell you, I was having a great time.
How to get those cars to go so fast?
So fast. I was like, woohoo!
There's that. One of the story arcs that really upset me in a deep way was the old country singer who was being seduced by the younger country singer who was just fucking everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just something about that really took it out of me.
Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes.
That whole arc really took it out of me. Her fucking poor kids.
Her poor kids.
Oh,
but when Lily Tomlin, the mother to that deaf kid.
Yeah.
And
her.
Yeah, when that I'm Easy scene, and it just starts zooming in on her.
Yeah,
I love all the other women.
It makes me tear up. It really gets me.
I love that, like, all the other women.
Yeah, just going to all of them, man.
Well, it's specifically that they think it's about them, and then they realize, no, it's about someone else, and they all, like, follow his line of sight and see her just in the back of the room. Like,
Sucks, dude.
It's so... That's kind of like the Altman, that's the appeal to me. Like, that scene kind of gets it all to me.
Yeah.
Where there's so much chaos around the whole thing, but suddenly you hit that scene and it all comes together.
Yeah, everything
in this like really just like succinct moment, and it gets me. And it also, especially now when it zooms in on Shelley Duvall's face.
Oh yeah.
May she rest in peace. Especially watching all of these Altman films, just one of my favorite actors in the whole world.
Mm-hmm. Dude, she's just the best in this movie.
She does not care about her dead aunt at all.
No!
It's so sad.
I love her switching between she's so irreverent in this film. And it's such an interesting character for her to play.
She's just walking into like almost every scene with some new insane outfit.
God bless.
Just it's incredible. Oh my god! And when that the guy who is in the military who's coming here to see
Oh my god.
Barbara Jean, and he's talking with Shelley Duvall's uncle, and he's just like, good luck to your wife when he leaves. And it's after he just got the
news that she had died.
That she died.
Oh, that shit's...
It's fucking tragic. Man. It's horrible. It's so sad. Fuck, there was one other specific scene I was trying to remember, but now it's blanking in my brain right now. But just so many of these things, you get to this really interesting dichotomy where it is the most important time in so many of these people's lives. Like, we are getting the most important week of so many of these characters' lives, and then with characters like Keith Carradine or Hamlet or Haven Hamlet or whatever, where it's just like just another fucking week. Like, it truly nothing matters to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of devastating. And then you also get a scene like the fucking party where Elliot Gould shows up and just Haven Hamlet's demeanor completely changes because he's talking to somebody who's like actually famous.
I love this shit.
Oh, it's incredible.
They're all Nashville famous.
Yeah, instead of Nashville famous. So, like, what do you guys think of the ending of this movie?
Good. I really like that ending. That's a good ending.
I watched it. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I truly was like, I don't know what to do with this.
It's so much.
It ending with like political violence was a lot.
Political violence, and then just somebody just getting on stage and doing it all over again.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Get on stage and keeping the cycle going. And
such a bummer.
The waitress missed her shot. She's just standing there on the side.
Oh.
Devastating. Just like, it's so sad. Awesome. Incredible movie. One of my favorite things. Just perfect controlled chaos of a movie. And my partner clocked it real quick where we were watching it like, oh, okay, I get it. It's kind of like True Stories.
Dude, I also was thinking of True Stories, don't you worry. I was like, oh, this is why Seth likes it so much. It's True Stories.
Yeah, I was watching National, like, oh, this is where it gets it. This is where it gets its whole thing. Yeah. I do think I like True Stories a bit more, but
I'm surrounded by rubes.
There's something about it. It just really works for me. All right, you want to talk about? You guys have any final Nashville thoughts?
I look forward to watching this movie again. I would love to see it in a theater.
I would kill to see this in a theater, man.
It's truly one of those movies where I'm like, I think it just is served best in that setting.
I'd love to watch it again. I don't think I have the stamina to sit through this movie in a film.
I am curious how you will feel about it in the future, because I do know, we were kind of talking about it, that despite not feeling huge on this, you are apparently converted into being an Altman fan.
I think he's a genius, even after not fucking with this film, which is crazy. I didn't fuck with this movie, and I was still left thinking, this guy knows how to fucking direct.
It's so good. I think you're gonna fuck with The Long Goodbye so fucking hard.
It's gonna make you so upset, dude.
I'm here for it. I need an Altman film that's gonna fuck my shit up.
I think you're gonna love Elliot Gould's whole thing. It's great.
Brewster McCloud was something else, man.
Brewster McCloud's fucking awesome.
James, you gotta watch Brewster McCloud.
Okay.
I think it'll change you.
Good to know.
Those women just want to fuck him so bad.
In my back.
Yeah. I love Brewster McCloud so much. Okay, you guys want to talk about The Revenant?
Woo!
No, we can skip this one.
Let's talk about The Revenant. Woo! We need to talk so much about The Revenant. This is my true war of the year, starting now, because it sounds like the two of you aren't as high on this Oscar-winning film. I have words to say about that in particular. Not even okay. Let me clarify. I don't think that Leonardo DiCaprio is like bad in this movie by any stretch. But the entire time I was like, this is what he won.
That's what I was thinking.
Like this is the one. It is good.
He's fine. He's perfectly fine.
Oh, well, what?
He does the job.
I think
He's fine.
I think he does a really good job. I think he does. He's Leonardo. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is great. I'm in Leo's corner.
Yeah.
As an actor, I think he's great at what he does. But it's just like this being the one, I was like, that's crazy. Like, I get it. It was kind of a like.
It was a culmination thing because I remember the narrative around this a lot was like he was in like a string of movies where everyone's like, why has he not got it yet? I remember that specifically being like a big.
Yeah, I remember that being the big thing around that time.
Yeah,
but
I don't dislike this movie.
I don't like.
Let me be clear.
James
but I
disliked it.
I am very. I to be fair, I also don't think I gave this the greatest shot in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think watching it with the anticipation of I have to watch like 5 other things today. I meant to rewatch it before this episode, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I appreciate this movie. Looks fucking really good on my OLED TV. Let me tell you something.
Did you watch the open mat version as well?
I don't think so. I watched whatever the fuck was on my DVD.
Hey, real.
Like forever ago, which even being on a DVD, which is I guess it was like it's kind of a later DVD, but
it'd still be sub HD.
Yeah, but it looks fucking great.
Yeah. I did
So
watch
good.
this in open mat format, which is like the IMAX format where it's the full 1080, 1920 resolution. Like it's there's no letterboxing. It's just like full screen.
Sounds awesome.
And it was gorgeous. That's the best part of this damn movie is just looking at it.
It is very pretty.
I was blown away. Do you know what else this director has done, by the way?
Birdman.
They fucking Birdman. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, I love Birdman.
Yeah,
and
I can't believe that.
They're also their next film, which is supposed to come out this year, I believe, is supposed to be a Tom Cruise starring vehicle.
I did see their most recent movie that came out. Bardo looks really interesting.
I'm interested in
like
that. I know.
I'll probably give it a watch.
They have a one really popular film, which I can't remember the name of right now because I'm a fucking idiot coward. Ameros Paros is one of their like really big ones.
Name.
It came out in the year 2000. It was like a huge it was a big movie.
A Y2K classic.
Yeah, Y2K classic. And I also know that the Brad Pitt movie that he has, Babel, inspires some very polarizing opinions from people.
Interesting.
Okay.
So I'm interested in it.
Interesting.
His films have a lot of range.
I'm looking at the description for Judy. This is the most Tom Cruise vehicle I've ever heard in my life. The most powerful man in the world embarks on a frantic mission to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything. Wonder what Tom Cruise is feeling right now.
Someone will like it.
I'll like it. I'll watch it. I'll like it.
No problem. I'm ready.
I'm gonna like it more than the fucking Revenant, I'll tell you that much.
It might be.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot for that, James.
But I really want, not to put you on the spot, Ren.
Okay.
But I do really I kind of get why you would enjoy this film, but I do really want to know why you love it
this much.
So much.
I also was thinking this.
Okay. The two of you have never been stuck in the middle of the woods for 4 days and had to camp in sub 10 degree weather, and each period of time where there's sunlight, the only thing you're thinking about is how the fuck do I fall asleep tonight so I can get ready for the night after this?
You're not
that is
wrong.
I
can't argue with that experience.
I can't argue with that, man.
That
would probably add something.
All I'm saying is that for me, this hits a very specific feeling of, oh fuck, I've thought I'm gonna die in the woods a good handful of times, and then I got out of it, and that was cool. And that's half of it. That's half of it. And I love my memories of being stuck in the woods and having a terrible time, because in hindsight, that was cool. It's nice outside, and I probably wasn't gonna die because there were things there that would have prevented that. The second half of that is, dear God, do I love torturing my homunculus.
Fair enough.
Man, does it pay to see your homunculus suffer. There's that scene where he blows up his throat, the fucking cauterize it. I'm so in.
See, I liked that. I liked the fucking hatchet shit, where
so
it's like
good.
survival stuff. I was enjoying that. I wish there was more of it, frankly. I wish there was less Tom Hardy and his fucking around. I was just like, okay, yeah, he's a bad guy.
Here's the I don't know. I think Tom Hardy's really good in this movie.
I think he's good. But, I'm looking at this movie, and I'm seeing 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Fitzgerald?
And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, I cut all the Tom Hardy shit. I cut that down.
Nah!
I understand he's a bad man. I do not need more of it. Just cut it down. I mean, this movie's just too long. I could not stand how long this movie was. I wish you could have heard the noise I made when he falls off the cliff and falls through that fucking tree. I lost my shit. I could not believe that more bad things were happening to Leonardo DiCaprio and that the movie kept going. Like, I hit mania. Like, I just couldn't take it.
I just need my homunculus to suffer more. That's all I need. And then I'll be happy.
I cannot stand this film. It just keeps going.
I mean, that's our difference. I found it very compelling watching a man struggle against a situation to achieve something that was ultimately useless.
I also...
For me, that's...
Going into this, also, I had a very different imagination what this movie was. Because I had never seen it, but I was paying attention to movies when this movie came out, and I was aware of things.
Sure.
So like
I got kind of confused between this and The Grey.
The Grey.
Oh,
The Grey,
man,
which is the
really?
Liam Neeson film about him like surviving against a pack of wolves at night. That's kind of what I thought this was going to be.
I would definitely probably enjoy that one more.
Oh man.
Let me look at the runtime on this. 117 minutes. Yeah. But But no, so I went into this movie thinking several things. One, I knew he fell through a tree. And I thought that would be the inciting incident, frankly. Two, I knew that there was a bear and that he has to deal with the bear. So I thought this was going to be like a Life of Pi situation where he just has to deal with the bear the whole time.
I did think that there was going to be more bear in this movie.
I thought it was going to be so much more bear. And I also didn't expect him to have a child. I didn't expect Tom Hardy to be fucking around. Like,
I like Will Poulter being in here. I'm a big Will Poulter.
Yeah, I was like, hey, well, he's good. That guy.
Yay, Maze Runner! I was fucking hyped. But have both of you seen Midsommar?
I've not seen Midsommar. Yes,
I have.
James, he's so good in Midsommar.
Don't ask dumbass
so
questions
fucking
you know
good
the
in
answers
Midsommar.
to.
You might have. I don't know.
There's not a fucking... I ain't got time.
He plays the shittiest guy, and it's so good.
He's fucking awesome in that movie.
I'm so bummed he isn't in more things right now. It makes me so sad.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as Adam Warlock.
He's like the best part. He's the best part of that movie.
What? I didn't know that.
He's really good.
I couldn't...
I take it back. I
could not believe that he was who they got as Adam Warlock. I was like, whoa, what?
I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
I also want to say, on the rewatch, it was definitely less harrowing because I'm not seeing if the man survives, so parts of it hit really, really different. Mm-hmm. In the final confrontation where fucking Glass is talking to him and going like, what the fuck? Why'd you do this? Ah! He's like, you shouldn't have raised a pussy bitch. And I was like, oh my god. It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Good.
It hit in the stupidest way. And sometimes you just need that after the end of a really long, grueling session of torturing your poor homunculus.
So this movie is based off of a somewhat real story. Hugh Glass, a real man. And in the 70s, there was a movie based off the same story. It was called Man in the Wilderness. I have not seen it yet. I want to watch that shit so badly. It's so much shorter. It's only 104 minutes. I think I will watch this and be like, yeah, this is
2 stars in that.
I think I will have a great time.
No!
Is there any names in that one?
John Huston is in it.
Okay.
Richard Harris. I'm trying to see if any of these other ones really stick out to me. Nothing that sticks out to me.
In 2019, there was like a really interesting sort of like complete reimagining of this.
Oh yeah.
named Glass, directed by M. Night
You
Shyamalan.
suck. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Get out.
We don't need you. We don't want you.
Oh man,
Bad man.
that movie's better than this one though.
Oh, dude, don't fucking start with me.
You know,
I think the difference between me and the two of you is that tomorrow I could sit down, put on The Revenant, have a great time.
I wouldn't. I'd just be like, oh my god, it's still happening.
The real difference between me and you is I could do that, but with Nashville.
Yeah, fuck, no chance, no shot.
I'm watching that, I'm like, this is what every movie should be.
I think every movie should look at Nashville and be like, yeah, we should never have singing in our films.
It's so good, though.
The only movie that they're allowed to sing in is one of those Ice Age movies. I think they can sing in those. I think I want to see a mammoth sing.
You know.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, I'm okay. I can't argue with that.
Have you ever looked at the box office returns on Ice Age movies?
Oh, it can't be good.
Oh no, they're godly. It's some of the most upsetting numbers you'll ever see. Every one of those movies makes more money than God. It's so.
Let's look at Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
They just keep
making that money. One. I saw that one in theaters.
Oh my god!
Positive that one made like $1 trillion.
Oh my god! I think adjusted for inflation, that is an easy billion.
It probably.
It's terrible. It's one of those things where it's like, why do they keep making these? And then you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, that's why they keep making them. They just print money.
I mean, I shouldn't have thought.
You know
what
the last one made?
That's on me.
Collision Course. You want to guess what that one made?
I don't.
The budget was $105 million. Box office $408.5 million.
Nah, dude, nah.
The fifth Ice Age movie made.
That's bad.
I stand by. I will listen to the mammoth
culture.
No, culture loves mammoths, dude. What's your problem?
Fair enough.
Oh man,
Zeitgeists are fucking on right now, and they're thinking about mammoths.
The movie before Continental Drift cost $95 million. Box office $877 million.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck no.
These movies made so much money.
So fucked. Now they're a Disney franchise.
Do we have anything else to say about
it? I just fucking can't.
Yeah. I think everybody should watch it, and if
I mean, give it a shot.
It's fine.
I'll sit there and just think, why didn't you watch it?
Mid-20 blockbuster. You'll enjoy it.
Nope.
But let me tell you this.
Wrong assessment.
You know what else came out in 2015 that smokes this every damn day?
No.
The Martian. Go watch the fucking Martian. You'll have a great time.
Okay.
I've been thinking about the Martian lately.
I can buy that.
Good movie.
I'll watch The Martian.
I'll always watch it. I love Matt Damon. I love spending time.
You are a Matt Damon head.
That's your homunculus torture.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've expressed this thought to YouTube. I've expressed this to my partner. I think almost any movie that Leonardo DiCaprio is in, I would prefer Matt Damon. Like, I think you could slot him in and he'd do a better job.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I just don't think Matt Damon is capturing the same feeling of having your throat slashed by a bear.
I think he could do it.
Fair enough.
I think he could do it. I just don't think it'll hit the same way.
In 2015, that's way better and cooler.
What's that?
Oh,
a little movie called Mad Max Fury Road.
God, looking at 2015 is
that's
crazy.
True.
Fucking
I can't fight that. It's true.
Force Awakens, The Lobster, The Vivitch. Like,
oh my god, this is all 2015.
Yeah, dude, 2015 was crazy. There's a reason I remember this.
What the fuck?
Jurassic World, Creed,
Green Room,
fucking Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible, like
Crimson Peak. The
Green Room, that's good.
Guillermo del Toro.
Before we get to our final movie, I have a very quick aside.
One of my favorite fucking M. Night Shyamalan movies, The Visit, was released that year. That's fucking crazy.
Really? The Visit was?
The Visit was 2015.
I feel like this was around the same time. Do you guys remember that movie about the prison moon that was crashing into Earth?
What the fuck did you just say to me?
There was this movie about this fucking a space station moon that was used as a prison to send off all the fucking prisoners from Earth.
I'm thinking about Elysium.
I'm not thinking about Elysium. That's
you're not thinking of Gravity, are you?
I wonder if I'm thinking.
No, Gravity.
I don't think I'm thinking.
Gravity's
of
a
Gravity's
very
just somebody
thing, but
Yeah, Gravity's just kind of like...
I saw Gravity in theaters.
It's just in space.
Yeah, they're just like bad things are happening in space.
I
need to look this up later.
I want talking about. I think that you made this movie.
I did not. Absolutely not.
Definitely isn't true. This is definitely a real movie. The Assassin came out that year.
Chappie came out.
What's The Assassin?
What?
Ex-Machina? Really? This is a lot for 1 year, dude.
Mr. Right, the Max Landis joint.
Hotel Transylvania 2.
Oh, thank God. I was worried about that.
People like this.
Okay, wait. I think I might have found it.
I was buying. We were buying time. What'd you find?
I think it might be Lockout 2012. I need to check though.
What the fuck is this?
Okay, no. I think. Wait.
This is. This
might be different.
Just kicking my ass.
It's crazy, right?
Guy Pearce?
Is it Incoming? I need to know.
Incoming sounds like it could be.
In 2079, CIA operative Snow's arrested for murdering Colonel Frank Armstrong. Meanwhile, President's daughter, Snow breaks into this... I don't see anything about a moon.
This is gonna haunt me. I need to fucking know what this is.
You figure that out.
No, this is the show now. This is all... Wait... Okay,
we're just trying to find this one movie.
Okay, we're gonna move on. But I have found something insane.
Sorry.
On the Lockout Wikipedia page, there is a based on credit, and the based on credit is Escape from New York and Escape from L.A.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck?
I don't know how these things connect.
Well, now I gotta know.
Now we. Okay. James, you can't just hit that out of nowhere.
That's insane.
Legal action in 2015. Director John Carpenter sued the filmmakers, alleging Lockout plagiarized his films Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. The French court ruled in his favor, awarded him damages of 20,000 euro, with Escape from New York screenwriter Nick Castle getting 10,000 of it and 50,000 getting given to Studio Canal. Oh.
That's fucking crazy.
The claimant's total damages were increased to $450,000. Also, Wikipedia, great see also suggestion, list of films featuring space stations.
Fuck, I need to go down that. I need to fucking know what this is, dude. We don't have to figure it out now. But now I'm fucking thinking about it. No, there's not time. I'm so sorry for bringing this up.
It's fine. I'm just going to be thinking about it forever now.
Yeah, me too. I know it's real.
But let's talk about
Lake Mungo.
Our final film of the night, Lake Mungo.
I don't know.
It's good.
Neat.
That's fine.
I think there's some incredibly strong shit in here. Yes. It's just all at the very end.
Something that really... I agree, but also... this movie's beautiful. Like, that's something that I was really struck by, is just the images, like some of the shots at night when the mother. So okay, for context, Lake Mungo is the story of a girl who dies in a lake, and it's the story is about the family grieving it, and like some paranormal things happen. It's like, whoa, and then like maybe they're real, maybe they're not, and like the whole movie is just talking about the aftermath of this young woman's death.
Yeah.
And there's a section that really, like, the images really got to me, where the mother is talking about walking around her neighborhood and just going into other people's houses.
Oh, that part was fucking crazy.
That's just so good. And, like, the images of that neighborhood at night and the houses was really, like, I was really just enraptured by it this time around. I was reading a little bit about the cameras being used on this film because I was curious. A lot of it was filmed, but they used, like, over 10 or 20 cameras, like just switching between to get like all these different images. A lot of it being, video camera, some of it being film. It was very interesting. The cinematographer actually has a huge blog post where he talks about the filming of it. I didn't get a chance to read it, unfortunately, but I wanted to. But yeah, the images of this film is really what got to me this time. Originally, I just liked the story and the way it plays with the is it real? Is it fake? Is this like the hoaxing stuff? Like that really, I found really interesting. And they're just like,
I think
got under my skin. What was that?
I do think that stuff is really interesting. I just kind of wish there was a bit more there. I wish it spent a little more time kind of like getting in there. Which I understand why there's no easy explanation for any of the things that he did.
100%.
But I do just kind of wish that there was a bit more time spent on like what the effects of that.
Yeah.
They kind of move on from the fact that he did this thing real fast.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
About this watch there. I was like, why aren't we?
That's like
this
crazy thing to do.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not really focused on. And like the thing that really got to me this time was the psychic and it's like, the psychic actually like knew her before she died.
Yeah,
doesn't bring it up because he's like, oh well, patient confidentiality. But it's also like, is that it? Like.
Is that especially with like the reveal of
that,
which let me just the people who made this movie are real big fans of Twin Peaks.
I believe it. Okay, yeah, actually,
because their names are the Palmers.
Yeah,
she died in a lake. Nobody like really understands it. Like a lot of the things, very similar.
I hadn't put that together, but you're
to Twin Peaks,
right? Yeah.
Kat actually pointed that out, where like. Because I do remember thinking, like, it's like the Palmers. It's kind of like Twin Peaks. And then, like, later, Kat was like, it's kind of like Twin Peaks. And I was like, oh my god.
Right?
Yeah, all of these, like, little things. Which, I mean, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
That's not, like, a bad thing. It's just, like, the way it kind of goes, I was taken aback by, like, how much it ends up leaning into that.
Definitely, yeah.
That reveal is...
It got me. It gets me every time. I'm just like,
Yeah, so
okay,
let's talk about it real quick and
sorry.
Near the end of the movie, it is revealed that what is her name?
Alice.
Man.
Alice. I was like I can't remember that Alice, the daughter, had at some point in time been in a sexual relationship with her neighbor. Both of her, like...
Both neighbors, I think.
Yeah, both like her... a neighbor family who she used to babysit for. And there's a video of the mother and the father and her engaging in sexual activity. That is really just, like, real uncomfortable.
Sucks.
Real harrowing. It takes it out of you.
It's really just like it takes the wind out of your sails. And but after you eventually learn that they like moved away.
Yeah. And like the dad had like known about this tape, obviously. And like the way they discover this tape that is happening is they see him sneaking into their house trying to find it. It's one of the recordings that the son makes while like doing his own stuff.
I want to mention something about that. Because I noticed him the first time, and I thought that was the ghost, and then something else fucking went by, and I was like, what the fuck is that then? Is that just like part... And then I was just like, okay, that's part of the set. And then it comes back, and it's like, no, that was a guy. That fucked my shit up. I was so upset.
Like, that's the magic of this fucking movie.
That is like some good shit. That it is. It doesn't hide stuff from you normally. Like it's not like this happens in. I'm pretty sure. Like Horror in the High Desert is guilty of this, where. Horror in the High Desert will hide something from you until a reveal, which I think is really lame. Not always. It doesn't always do that, but it does do it on occasion. Which Horror in the High Desert, because it's on my brain a lot, is something that I compared this movie to a lot.
Me too.
I think it makes sense.
Which I think like on a story level, Lake Mungo is more interesting. I think aesthetically, I like Horror in the High Desert a lot more.
I can't agree. But I just
I like
the beauty of the images in like Mungo. Like
I think that's totally fair. I like how kind of chintzy and like small the feeling at least at like that first Horror in the High Desert
very
film, which
DIY,
I was mostly done.
Like,
yeah, and to me that kind of makes it feel
love.
more like I'm watching a documentary. I like found a documentary on television, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing like hits harder for me, but I don't think any of the Horror in the High Desert movies have a scene that like kind of hit me in the same way as the reveal of what's on her phone.
Jesus, dude. Like which
is like
horrible.
Genuinely terrifying to me.
God.
That video sucks. That video sucks.
It gets man. Dude, like every time. Like, and then I love the reaction of the family being like, imagine you were her. Like, and you saw that.
They move on from that so fast. I rationalized it to myself a bit. Like, that's something that, like, if I saw that in real, maybe there's a chance that I'd be like, that's just too much. Like, I'm just not going to deal with it. But, like, just the implication, like, yeah, you know, she saw her own death coming towards her.
Well, I mean,
and like, that's the scariest shit of all time.
They do talk about, like, that's when she goes to the psychic and everything. Like that is, like, what leads into that. And then you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, more, it's just the family. Yeah. I think the family moves on from that a little fast.
Yeah, I get you. One thing I learned reading a bit, I think it was on that blog I was talking about, the cinematographer. I believe it was there where it's mentioned that there was no shooting script for this movie outside of like the TV stuff, like the news reporter stuff. All the interviews was just all improv. Like they told him like these are the story beats we need to hit. These are the emotions of this scene.
And like here's kind of your backstory or whatever.
Exactly. But there was no actual script.
That's really interesting.
Which is, I mean, it's also interesting because that's how Blair Witch was shot the same way. There's no real script for that movie. Just like improvising in the woods. And this is obviously a post Blair Witch movie, so you know, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie is super interesting. It's something that I'm like, yeah, if you have any interest in like found footage, I think it's
definitely. I was surprised you hadn't seen it yet, because
I had known about it, and I think I've started it a few times. So I just like, it's always been a bad time.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it is. I'm very happy to have finally like actually seen it and been like,
have this in your pocket.
It's interesting. I think it is a really
interesting different directions.
I wanted to love this a lot. I wanted to love this, and I ended up just like liking it a good bit.
I think the thing that like really captures it for me outside of visuals, whatever, is I love hoaxes. I've always been interested in the supernatural and all that stuff, but very much from the skeptic, like, okay, how does this, like, what is actually happening here? Like, who's tricking who sort of deal? And so a movie...
The Fiji Mermaid's biggest fan.
So a movie that, like, integrates that as, like, part of the plot of, like, yeah, these ghosts were fake. Like, this was, like, a specific person did this, you know, it was a whole thing. It was all fake. And then, but then all, you know, the double twist at the very end of, like, no, there were more ghost photos that we just didn't catch at the time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just there. It is very interesting. I do think a part of it is I do like when it's real.
Yeah.
I like watching a cult and being like, what if what if this is real? What if this actually happens?
Yeah.
What if there were worms in my brain?
What if there were worms in my brain? What if he's correct? What if he should be doing what he's doing?
I will say, as we're talking about it, I'm looking out into the dark portion of my apartment and just going,
dude, it's
fucking scary.
Yeah, dude. Like
it's good in that way. It is very good in that sense. It is like unnerving.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like my issue was the bulk of it wasn't as emotionally resonant as Horror in the High Desert was interesting throughout.
I get that.
Like, I wasn't as engaged.
Yeah, because like we kind of said, Horror in the High Desert has like the edges of like, again, a DIY, very like homemade film that you can kind of latch onto and think about.
Yeah,
but like Mungo is very slick, as it is an indie production. It's an indie Australian
which
production,
is interesting because
gorgeous looking. Like,
it is. It looks really good, and the director has never done anything.
Yeah,
crazy.
As far as I can tell, yeah.
And isn't even really has been interviewed exactly once about the movie, and was like, yeah, I don't really have any plans to do anything else. I kind of want this to exist as this mysterious thing that people can kind of discover, and the fact that there's not a ton of information about who made it will enhance that vibe. And I think that is interesting. Yeah, I think that is a cool thing. A little lost on me, but I think it's just a movie that if I had discovered this as a teenager,
oh yeah,
if I was if I was in that space a little bit more, I think this would have gotten me, and not in a way to be oh, it's not good because I'm not a child or whatever. But I think if I was in that headspace a bit more, where I would maybe be a little bit more creeped out by who made this?
what is this
that kind of fear, that kind of feeling. I think that it would have hit a bit harder for me, but I mean, I do enjoy it. I do think it's good. I would recommend it to people pretty blanketly. I would
100%.
I think it's something that people should watch.
In a similar way to Nashville, even though it didn't affect me in the way that it clearly affected for the recommender, I think this is a very good film. I think it's a very strong film. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, you just hold it. There's so many edges that you can think about in the story. It's a good object to rotate. I'd like to mention the number one review for this movie on Letterboxd is from Mike Flanagan, which
interesting.
I did not know he had a Letterboxd account, and
I follow him.
Who's Mike Flanagan?
He did a bunch of stuff. He's the director of those Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, TV shows for
He
Netflix. He
did Gerald's Game.
He did Gerald's Game. He did Doctor Sleep a couple years ago. He did
The Fall
Hush,
of the House of Usher. Recent adaptation was him.
Yeah, which I still need to watch.
Oh,
that.
cool.
That's the only one of those TV shows that he's made that I haven't seen yet, which sucks.
I mostly know him as that guy who loves Stephen King, who is fighting tooth and nail to adapt anything Stephen King.
Real.
Do you know about the thing? Because I'm indefinitely.
Is he doing Dark Tower finally? Is that what you're talking about? Because I know he's wanted to do the Dark Tower.
He has the rights. Stephen King gave him the rights.
Okay.
And he
That's
apparently
awesome.
has he has a treatment for it. He's written out a way to adapt it into 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
And that's what he really, really wants to do. And I'm really pulling for it.
I mean, if anybody's gonna pull it off,
Yeah, if anybody's gonna do it, I think it'll be him. So I'm interested.
I'll watch it.
I want to see it really bad.
Because doesn't Gerald's Game adaptation have some Dark Tower shit that he put in there?
I've heard that's the case. I haven't seen his Gerald's Game adaptation because I haven't read Gerald's Game yet, and I want to read it.
It's one of the Stephen King novels that I think I couldn't read just because it would upset me too much. I think it would just get me in a place where I'm I just don't want to read that.
Cyberman shows up too much.
He does have a new Stephen King adaptation called The Life of Chuck that's supposed to be coming out soon with Tom Hiddleston and Mark Hamill and a bunch of people.
Oh,
weird.
Nashville Lillard's in it.
Damn.
Heather Langenkamp. I'm excited. I'm very excited for it.
Interesting.
I like Mike Flanagan a lot.
You know what? I'm gunning for him. Out of anybody,
I'm hoping for him. I also really want to rewatch his film Hush, which is a home invasion thriller. Where the person whose home is being invaded is a deaf woman.
Oh.
And he so famously we're gonna have to end this.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to move on. But this is an interesting thing. Famously, it wasn't made by Netflix. It wasn't funded by Netflix, but they bought the distribution rights to it after its initial festival run. Did fairly well on Netflix, and Mike Flanagan was like, okay, now let me put it on Blu-ray. And they were like, no.
I hate them so much.
Because they're the worst ever. But
awful.
sometime like 2 or 3 years ago, it randomly got taken off of Netflix. And it was kind of just gone for a while. And then Mike Flanagan kind of came out and was like, okay, I have the rights to it again. I worked out different streaming rights to it, and a Blu-ray's coming. The Blu-ray is out, and he has done a new cut of the film called the Shush Cut, which just basically just takes out all of the noise.
That rocks.
And apparently rearranges some stuff, which I'm like, that sounds
black
really
and white,
interesting.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Oh, cool!
I really want to watch that version of it.
Here's a insane hush fact. The movie has been remade twice in India. Once as a Hindi language film, Kamoshi, I believe is how you say that. I'm not certain. June 2019, and again as a Tamil. Is that how you say that one? I can't ever remember. Tamil language film. I don't have the syllables for that one, but that one came out in August 2019. So
that's beautiful.
Rocks.
Do you know about the 52 episode Indian TV show based on Stephen King's It?
No.
Yeah, it's called Woh.
What?
WOH.
Oh hell yeah!
Sick.
Whoa. Yeah, it's just a 52 episode show from 1998.
That's the right year.
That I don't know how fateful it is, but it apparently adapts Stephen King's It.
I bet
this guy made. This guy made motherfucking Oculus. Ew.
Oh yeah, Oculus rocks.
What?
That's a cool movie.
He also made Ouija: Origin of Evil, a movie that I saw in theaters with my lovely partner.
I've heard. I've not seen Ouija: Origins of Evil because I haven't seen Ouija yet, but I've heard it's pretty good.
People say. There's a specific scene that I remember finding incredibly upsetting watching it.
Fair enough.
Mike Flanagan.
That's how you do it.
Lake Mungo, good. Go watch it.
Lake Mungo, good.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the episode. We did receive an email in the interim between episodes. We'll talk about that next episode. Because this one's running long.
We'll talk about it on a normal episode.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys know what we're reading next?
Well, I do because I'm the one who.
I was hoping.
You are.
What are we reading next?
So we are going to be reading something that kind of breaks the basic rules of what we normally cover. So scared. But I made you two agree to this months ago, almost a year ago.
Is it?
Where I added you and I was like, hey, can I do something that kind of breaks our format slightly, but isn't that long and I think fits the theme? We're going to be covering over the course of 3 episodes. We are going to be covering the entirety of the Getter Robo Saga.
Oh, yes!
Oh, man!
Okay, I remember talking to you about this. Yes, okay.
Here's how we're gonna...
I also do.
Yeah, here's how we're going to do this. I think this is gonna be a great time. You want to read this?
Yeah, I do, but I'm lost, because now I can't keep my bit going.
Yeah, fucking owed.
Too bad. Well, you get to choose after me, so it'll be fine.
Fucking damn my life. I'm excited.
So here's how we're going to cover it. In about 2 weeks from,
when this comes
when this comes out, we will be covering the mangas Getter Robo and the sequel manga Getter Robo G, which is altogether that's about 17 chapters, I think, maybe 20-ish.
It ain't bad.
The second episode will be just Getter Robo Go.
Okay.
Which is the longest entry in the series and probably the most important one. And then the final episode will be Shin Getter Robo and Getter Robo Arc.
Okay.
That is, I think, the best way to do it. I will be able to explain better reasons why. I think it'll become pretty apparent once you actually get in there. But that is how we will do it. You can find those on a bunch of
they're out there
online things. They're out there. If you know where to, if you read manga that isn't officially released, you can find it. Just for a little bit more context, we will be reading the one that you kind of have to read on the internet is the Getter Robo Saga version, which adds a few small chapters to kind of fill in some gaps. that he did as like a big re-release.
Okay.
Before, like, after he finished some other stuff.
Interesting.
We'll talk about it more when we get there.
Cool.
But very excited. One of my favorite things ever, and I love thinking about it. So I'm very excited to talk about it later. You did agree to this.
There's apparently a live-action film coming out this year as well.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. That's
You
what
have
they
thoughts.
say. I don't think I don't know if that's true, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so what? Where can people find
You
us?
can find us on Blue Sky at Bog Frog Book Pod. They can find us on Twitter theoretically, although we're not really using it anymore.
We're not. Yeah, we've kind of abandoned that platform. Thankfully,
healthy
I'm kind of okay with
yeah,
that.
I'm not super interested in directing traffic over there anymore. You can email us at bogfrogbookpod@gmail.com, like another lovely listener has already. And then you can also listen to our other show, Covered in Worms. You can send in questions. I'm currently fielding questions, although by the time this episode's out, we may have already recorded that. So, I don't know, but send it.
Well, maybe not by the time this is out, but around that time.
So send in questions. You still have time. And that's it. That's the show. I look forward to doing this again. I've missed recording quite a bit, actually.
I have missed this a lot. I've been feeling it. I've been feeling it recently, where I've been like, man, it's fucked up that I haven't recorded anything in like 2 months.
Right.
It felt so strange.
Yeah.
Or like
It was really weird.
a month and change.
Yeah, a month and change in reality, because we did our call. I feel less bad. I'm happy that we did the 6 instead of 4.
That really helped out. Anyways, that's the show.
It
We're
helped.
done talking. Bye.
We're done.
Bye.
Bye.